We're gonna have to.
So,
Yeah, no, James, but. Can I get your name, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Martha Staskis,
She spelled the last name for me, please.
Staskus. And I have Jeff, Deoff. Oh my God,
from Norwood.
works for me. From Norwich, so.
Oh, okay.
Geez, oh, Martin,
right.
Martin.
Thank you so
He'll be
much.
here second. I'm sorry.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Do we have any updates to the agenda?
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Any updates to the agenda?
You guys probably got the email regarding the skid steer. $40, that'll be up to you guys how you want to do that.
What is it?
No, I'm sorry, I don't want to start. We're really having a hard time hearing down this end.
Sure. The skid steer for Andy, reimbursement from the first flood.
Oh.
Yep. Because he ended up coming in and couldn't, yep. The other is to allow the town manager to increase vacation time for employees. Specifically, I'm speaking of Lisa. We're all aware of the flooding that's happened, and I would like some capability to give her some bereavement in a way. And unfortunately, there's nothing in our policies that fits neatly under her house is gone. So, yeah. And then the other thing is 4 paid days for the road crew off. They're getting pretty tired. They need a break. And I know they're hard workers, but to give them 4 days paid would be really nice. And I'd like them to take it in a row if it's possible. So that's another thing that I'll leave to the board to decide. But that's all I have for updates.
Okay, public comment.
What I here for is I fall under public comment or something, or other business.
Public comment.
Yeah, okay.
Do we need to discuss the update?
I'm here,
We go back to it, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
I was told in your packet you have a copy of the petition that's circulating.
What's that?
Noah advised me that you wanted to bring it up at this meeting and discuss it, or if there was a formality involved in this petition.
Would you mind explaining the petition, kind of what it's about?
Petition, like this, is a petition to abolish zoning in Brighton. I'll read it out. Want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. The question reads, shall the citizens of Brighton in a town-wide vote to be held on, there's a mistake on the date here, it says November 3rd, it should be November 5th, 2024, by Australian ballot, vote to abolish all zoning bylaws, position of zoning administrator and all building permits. This vote is to include that no attempt to reinstate zoning shall be made without a town-wide special vote by Australian ballot. Questions? I believe Teresa checked with the Secretary of State, find out if the question is valid to present. It's valid on November 5th.
Is it valid?
Yep. So what Secretary of State told me was that you guys had to get notice before the meeting, and that you guys are the ones that actually decide the date of the meeting. And then we have to warn it, as we would anything else, 30 days before an election.
Where
are we at for
I have a question. Is there specifics? Because what it sounds to me is like no zoning. Is there a process of specifics before we I mean, we can't abolish zoning. We
That's what the
can't do
petition-
that.
That's
What
what the
the
petition
petition
is
is
for,
for.
to abolish it.
It's up to the
Okay.
voters, it's up to the
Right.
voters to say
Okay.
yea or nay,
Yeah.
based on how that question is presented.
Well, that's what I was asking.
Yes.
I don't know if somebody wants to bring this back and rewrite it because what's saying here is not.
That's not what her petition is for.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Petition goes as worded.
okay, the legal authority for zoning laws resides within the municipality itself, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, I think we stand, in good faith to protect the properties within this town from devaluation. And although I don't believe as a council member or a board member can say, no, I don't approve the position, the petition, because I think we have politically have to let it go forward. But without zoning laws, I'll be danged if I'm going to let somebody devalue the value of my home because a neighbor has whatever
Yep.
in its yard.
Mhm.
So
I agree.
I would like to speak to that.
Yes,
Sure.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Who approved this letter by Beth Redondi to go out with the property tax bills? Who approved it? Which one of you select board members approved it?
I don't.
This is a zoning administrator, is an appointed individual for the town. Therefore, acts independently and on behalf of the town and select board.
That's not exactly what you told me when I spoke to you earlier. You said you read the letter
I did.
before it went out.
Yep.
Why didn't you tell her that it was going to offend more than half of the people in this town?
I did speak with her and
Yeah.
I told her what I thought, but at the end of the day, she's not my employee.
She's getting paid by the town. Somebody
Yeah.
has to be supervising.
The select board is her supervisor.
Which one of you people nominated her for the
I
position?
did not.
Who nominated her to be zoning administrator?
So I'd have to go back and find the exact minutes from that
If
time.
you would, please, Teresa, and time, I would like to know the minutes and when she was nominated and who nominated her. I would like a copy of those minutes.
Personally, I didn't find the letter offensive.
No.
Um,
If it's read
so-
again, it's.
I mean, if I read that, I would not have found it
I have
offensive.
already had 100 people told me they were.
I understand that.
Mhm.
And your petition is absolutely your right to petition.
Yes.
You are entitled that right, and we will not and cannot stop you from doing that.
Mhm.
I personally do not find the letter offensive. However, obviously, some people did.
A lot of people.
If people have suggestions for how to remove offense when restating already approved zoning bylaws, I would definitely take that into consideration if we have to go through this again. But I know personally that when I moved to town 12 years ago, the first thing I did was go get a copy of the zoning bylaws, and I read through them one by one, and I made sure that I was familiar inside and outside with them. I should do that before I even bought the property. So nothing in the letter.
I was already familiar with the zoning bylaws when I moved here 20 years ago. And I have watched systematically over the years, zoning administrators abuse that zoning laws for one thing after another, whether it was to harass, abuse, drive out competition, or just bully people with it. Okay? And this select board is no different by hiring an incompetent person with a record of mental instability to be your zoning.
I'm not bringing up, I'm not allowing you to bring up.
I don't want to hear from Jean on this because I consider this position to have been given out of favoritism because of a member of her family.
We are not going to allow you to discuss anyone's medical information in a meeting.
I don't have to discuss her medical information.
Jim.
I have a right to discuss her behavior in public as a public official.
But you will not be allowed to call out any medical or mental disorders of any citizen within this town at these proceedings.
I have freedom of speech.
Yes, freedom
So
of
don't
speech.
you.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
you do. But within the confines of this organization, you do not.
I want this person dismissed.
We will.
I
we
want
will-
her
We're
dismissed.
hearing what you're
We'll be
saying. We
hearing
will
it
keep
and
that
we
in mind.
will, and.
And furthermore,
Thank you.
because this select board has acted disgracefully towards the people of this town, I am requesting the resignation of 2 members of the select board, you and you.
Specific.
All right?
I
Be
do not
specific.
accept,
Teresa,
I do not
Be
accept your
specific
suggestion.
about the, why
what?
you mentioned, say your comment again.
What?
Say your comment again.
What comment are you referring to?
What you just
I
said.
just asked for the resignation of 2 members of the select board
For the purpose of what?
because I have the right to ask for their
You
resignation.
have a reason?
I don't need a reason.
Of course you do.
No, I don't.
I respectfully
No, I don't.
decline your request.
You too? You too? I want this person, this Beth Redondi, I want her dismissed immediately
I will not support.
for her offensive letter.
We've heard
You
your
send
comment. We
out,
will not- We've heard your comment and
So
I
we'll-
personally will not
okay.
take action on that.
Yeah.
where was the select board? People in this town, they are suffering from.
Kathy.
Okay, Kathy.
You can speak
Shut up.
on
I'm
behalf of
speaking now.
yourself
Go ahead.
and your opinions.
Shut up, Kristen,
Okay, go
whatever your name is. The people in this town are suffering from problems. Okay, we have higher taxes, we have problems with the roads being washed away. And then this woman comes along and says, we're going to fine you if you have a snowmobile parked in your yard,
Okay,
or
listen,
a sled, or a ice shack.
so,
That's what kind of set
So-
me off.
And she
Yes.
also
No,
said if
there
you
is
needed
nothing there
assistance
about
to
an
let
ice
us
shack.
know.
there's nothing about.
Where are the volunteer crews to go out and help the people who can't get their yards fixed? or
There is a
cleaned?
process of signup.com that if enough people express interest, we can use that process to sign up and get help.
No,
So Kathy,
no. How many people around town have snowmobiles, lawnmowers, kids' junk all over their friggin' yards? How many of them have cars parked in the yard? Who the hell said that Adam Storm had to put up 1,000 feet of fence on the garage he doesn't even use? Okay? Let's get real here. This select board makes too many mistakes.
so
And the
let's,
rest of us are suffering for it.
Kathy-
You're not from here. You're not from here.
Can
What are
you
you
define
doing
here
here?
for me?
Here, are you a resident of Brighton?
Yes, I am.
You don't work here, though.
I work from my home, thank you, ma'am.
Weren't you complaining at the select
You're not
board,
get
not
this
more than a
personal,
few,
please.
what, the previous select board, that you were too busy to do this job that you were elected to
I
do?
did not say that.
You most certainly did. You said
I
it to my
did not
face.
say
You were
that.
sitting right beside
okay,
me.
all right, so let's,
Maya.
end this and we will.
I really don't want to end this yet, Chairperson. I want to express one thing that she's talking about because I was never informed about the hiring of Beth Redondi. And I need to let you know something right now. You can't start yelling at all the select people because we have a town manager that does the hiring and firing. So a lot of this is what's going on right now. I'm blind about.
Mike,
I understand, but we need to keep a calm
Okay.
cool
All right.
and not, no,
All right.
Jane, I'm
No,
speaking.
no, I
I'll
get it, I get
I
it,
know,
but-
well, let me talk. I've got the table. And what I'm saying is, it's not every select board member here is at fault. We have a town manager that we were supposed to answer to. He did the hiring of Beth Redondi. I didn't get.
No, he did not.
Listen, I just think it's okay.
Mike, you're wrong.
I will tell you that
Appointed.
Noah
By the-
does not have the
I
authority to hire
understand,
Beth
but I
Redondi.
don't want her to badmouth the selectman.
Right,
She is
That's
an
all I'm
appointed
saying.
I don't want the
position by
select
board.
badmouth and abuse and torment the people of this town, Mike.
I hear you.
And I'm getting sick of it. They have made so many freaking mistakes over the years. It's ridiculous.
But let's don't pinpoint the selectmen because they're all trying to
Yeah,
do a
but a
good
lot
job
of
here.
times the selectmen will overlook what the town.
I'm
folks
sorry.
want.
All I
Our
can do
votes
is
have
apologize,
not counted.
but that's
They
not what
don't.
I'm here about. All right, so whatever. Sorry.
all right, so. that's-
Petition is acknowledged.
Right.
Why talk at this time or at the end?
Are you
Public comment.
still, yeah, okay, so we'll go on, go ahead.
Okay, quickly, my name is Lou Quigley. I live out on Gideon's Mill Road. I used to be a full-time resident of town. Now I'm a snowbird. Briefly, about 10, 12 years ago, there was a rainstorm. And because the culvert on the road above me was clogged, The rainwater ran across the road, took out the road and took out my driveway. At that time, I hired Maxwell Bryan's father to fix my driveway. Since that time, 10 to 12 years, the town has not cleaned any of those culverts or taken any of the drainage ditches, stuff out of it. Those ditches are flat to the road, and this last deluge hit. And also, they had a guy come along with a side mower this year, and he took out a bunch of bushes and trees and left them in the ditch to collect more stuff. So when this deluge hit, couldn't go through the culverts, came across the road, took out the road where the culverts were, and destroyed my driveway, destroyed it. I think the town should reimburse me for the cost of the driveway, and if they want, add it to the FEMA bill that you have already. And I also want to say that Debbie is coming this weekend. My road has still not been trenched out. If you can get the road crew over there to do something, at least in front of my place, because there's no other driveway there, you might save it from having this problem again.
What's your?
Do you know what the road class?
What's my address? 629 Gideon's Mill Road.
I'll speak to the road crew. And I know we had our B-tons going around today to all the D.
Well, they're trenching out 5 Mile Square as we speak.
Yep.
They're doing a good job there, but it's also,
It's,
you know,
I know.
they should have done it 2 years ago.
Do we know what classification that road is? I'm just curious. 3? Thank you.
That's all I have to say. You'll give me a notice to let me know what the
We
decision
will.
is sometime. I'll just stop and see you.
You said you had just so I'm clear, this last storm really took your driveway,
Destroyed it.
destroyed it. Perfect. Not perfect, but
Destroyed it. I mean,
No, but
I mean, I can't tell you how many loads of stuff they had to bring
Oh,
in.
do you have pictures from before they did it by any chance?
I have, what do I have? I have pictures of, I just took.
So
a-
when working with FEMA, and especially with things like this,
I have.
we need those
So did you call
before.
211?
This is the ditch, even with the road. They never cleaned out any of these ditches. Those are the twigs and branches that are in that ditch.
For the
Your driveway.
damage that the storm did to your
Your driveway.
driveway, before you repair anything, we need pictures of that time.
Do
For
you
the
have that?
flood recovery
Well, I had
process.
the driveway fixed. I don't have any pictures of the driveway. Gotta have the guy who fixed it tell you what it was like.
Right, but the way that the filing works is they're going to ask us for pictures so we can look at that from,
we'll make it work.
Yeah,
but
Thank you.
it may present a little bit of an obstacle.
we'll,
If you have any pictures of before, you know,
Yeah.
just,
Oh, I didn't take pictures of it before. I didn't think to take pictures of it.
you may have some pictures you may have taken of the scenery and it has your driveway in it.
Driveway looked like the
Anything-
Grand Canyon.
No, before the Grand Canyon
you know
came
what?
about.
Just.
No,
But
okay.
even
You got-
with the
you got
Grand
a bill
Canyon
from
would be
that-
good.
from the
Yes.
contractor.
I didn't get it from
No.
Dylan yet.
So we can probably get some idea by how much gravel.
When I get that bill,
Yeah.
I'll
How much
send it to
gravel,
you.
Yep,
right.
you can still.
So did you make a claim to 211?
say what?
Did you call 211 to file the claim?
No, I
Because
didn't
it's
file
going
anything.
to make a difference when it comes to FEMA coming to this end of our territory. And be as small as it may be, and there's a ton of people that don't have any help, it's gonna be a great impact if FEMA does come through, the citizens like
211
you.
isn't FEMA.
Pardon me.
211 is
It's just,
the United Way.
it's to let them know that you as small citizens that didn't have flood insurance, because what it does, it brings them into our village here.
But I'll call them.
And they can pick up where the town really can't. So it's very important that we make sure that we report every little thing here. It was God's will here. This is no neglect from the town or any of us here. We all got hit. So if you just, if
But it
you do
was
it,
the
we're gonna work.
road, it was the road crew's neglect for 10 years.
Yes.
not to
I under-
fix that
I under-
road.
But this one was the grand finale. So what I'm asking, if you could do this for me, is to file that with 211.
I'll call them.
Yeah, and I would appreciate that, because then if there's something that even we can't do, because we're so deep underwater ourselves, this might help us as, no, didn't you meet with FEMA?
I met with FEMA, 2 different departments.
Yeah, so, and this is a big impact.
Oh, by the way.
Is that-
We went by Gideon's Mill Road. by the way.
Okay, did you see my?
Greg has some information on.
That's why I had to ask for your house number.
Oh, so
Okay,
you
two-
probably.
two.
We might have been.
You
I know,
might take
we
the
looked at the
pictures.
5, the 10, other places.
Okay, so you might have that.
May I go now?
No,
Greg
let me
has
give you some
on
information.
211.
211 is an information gathering opportunity. It is not filing a claim.
Okay,
Okay, so let's
But
make
it
that clear.
helps.
You
I'll call
don't,
them tomorrow.
so it's just gathering information about damage of this last storm. That's all that is. And it puts a tick mark on the map for the state and FEMA to look at and judge where they come out here.
And also to the town damage.
So,
But you have to do that.
and you will get with Noah with that bill and we can.
Cindy, I'll call the kid
And
today.
talk, okay,
Okay,
Perfect.
thank
thank you,
you.
folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Any other public comment?
I have one thing more I want to say. Just a minute, Gwen, I'll be right with you. It'll take a minute. 2 sentences. Quote, from an immigrant from Africa. Very successful, came into the country legally. Didn't, sneak across the border. He said this, what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. What I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. That's what I see here right now. That man's name was Elon Musk.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, I handed Noah that. I
Had no thanks to do.
I hand it back to you while you. Oh, this is best. That's the estimate?
It's 25. 14 footers, mine are like 25 footers.
Is that 88,000?
Yes.
Those are 25 trees.
We can discuss.
Yeah, we're not, yeah, that's gonna, all right.
Did the insurance people talk to anyone?
We can't do anything until I have the estimate that you just gave me.
Any other public?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
I don't think we can afford micromanaged zoning enforcement.
Yeah, you're not kidding on that.
You're getting the full staff of people out writing violations.
Well, I think if you look,
And
this zoning wasn't done up last month. These have been going on and have never been
Zoning
Enforced.
enforced.
What they enforced. And I was fortunate that nobody had that kind of attitude that I read in that letter. All the years I owned my house. I feel
I
I've
don't-
done
I don't-
amazing. I cleaned out 21 ton of garbage the first year of moving in there. That was just to get in the house and clean out that yard. And it's gradually, all the rest of it's piecemeal.
So I don't, yeah, because you want
And-
your place to look good.
Yeah.
So how would
but
you
there's-
feel about your neighbor?
I don't care about my
Well-
neighbors. I don't worry about my neighbor's yard because they're doing, that's their yard.
I get it.
That's my yard, mine to take care of.
I get it.
That's their yard, to take care of.
Mhm. But I mean,
I'm the one paying taxes
I
on
get-
my property,
I get
just
that.
like you are. I should be able to own and do what I want on my property. Whether you like it or not. Because some of that junk sometimes gets incorporated into your property. I have used some of my junk in my yard and made it look pretty damn good. And sometimes it's sat in my yard for years. And who are you to look at my junk and say, oh, get over it. Get over it.
When I read her
And it
letter,
sat right next to my house for years.
Because it was never being
I finally
enforced.
got that mostly cleared out.
so when I look at her letter, I see it as, this is what we have existing for zoning today.
And it is overboard and it needs to be reconsidered. But we can't just leave no zoning. I don't believe in that because next thing we know, Montpelier's gonna step in and tell us, neat.
And that
And we're
is
the
coming
ones
down, that
paying
is
the
coming
property
down.
tax, not them. Just like you're not paying mine and I'm not paying yours. It's my property. And I struggle with that property.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I watch the road now. It pours in my property when it floods. Nothing stays in the road now. They screwed up that whole road in front of my house. I used to be able to take.
Right, but that's not zoning.
That's the state.
That's my point.
That's, but I don't think
Culvert is not a zoning violation.
there's no culvert. It's when the
Driveway getting washed
state-
away is not a zoning violation.
no, your
Driveway.
zoning,
There's,
your zoning violations
Or
are
me
the
having my junk in
egregious.
my yard.
If you look at the.
It's talking about like trash, like household, when it says household debris, it's talking about bagged trash all over your lawn.
that's subjective.
It's not like, it's talking about stuff that brings in rats.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And brings
I
in-
live right on Railroad Street, remember? I'm constantly picking up other people's garbage.
Exactly,
what
why
she's
should we
saying
But
have
it's
zoning?
not my neighbor's garbage, it's people driving by.
That's not the point. The household garbage or trash is, a refrigerator, a freezer,
So,
a washer, a dryer.
Yeah, and that costs money for some people
no,
to
you
get
can
rid
just
of.
go to the recycle center and get rid of it.
What truck? I've got a car.
That's what we're saying, is if you need help.
And whatever happened to Bulky Day?
Well, that was
It
getting-
went away as a result of
The expense-
overuse. It's
It
excessive,
was,
like people were bringing in household garbage, like, actual stockpiled daily trash for a year in small little bags, not the large bulky items that it was intended to be, like.
On couch.
And it came out, I forget what the numbers
Well,
are.
how did
I have
they
to
get
go
away
back.
with it? Because usually they're pretty hawkeye.
The
Well,
biggest
no.
thing to me is it ended up not being for the residents.
And
Yeah,
yeah, but
Other
we're having
people
issues.
came
yeah.
and used it, and we were very generous and kind, with what we have and.
So the
And-
residents get kicked to the
So-
curb.
No, no,
because
no,
of what people
And
do.
so it's-
If you need help removing a refrigerator, and this is on the record for everybody.
Yeah.
If you need help, reach out. There are people in this town who will help you move that stuff. I being one of them. I can't tell you how many people I've helped move stuff from one place to the other. It was something that had to go to a dump in Coventry. I've helped people truck stuff there. This is what our neighbors and our community is for.
Where's that information for everybody to know
You-
in general?
Come into the town hall and you ask, you email, our emails are public. Come talk to us and ask us what you can say, hey, I have a situation. I need some help. And we can point you to groups of volunteers within town.
And if you had helped Beth shape the letter into an open hand, we might not even be having this discussion.
Which it absolutely
Instead,
was
she
not.
presented a clenched fist.
That's how it's gonna be.
And every person perceives things differently. I didn't perceive it that way. So maybe that's just because I read things differently. But we definitely, as far as letters go, I hear what you're saying with that.
But I really seriously think zoning does need to be addressed, needs to be revised. Because people do have a right.
So it's,
A revision
Whether-
of zoning.
Whether you don't like how he's got his stuff set up in his yard, or I don't like how Jean's got something set up in her yard, that's besides. the
Right.
point.
A revision to zoning is not what that petition was, though. That petition is
Yeah, we're
specifically to
getting rid
remove
of
it.
it.
you can't do
altogether.
that unless you
Yeah,
want
no,
to.
that I was
We're
really,
in other towns.
because like I said,
that-
I see what happens if we let go
That's
of
right.
our own.
Well, so, and that's what
The
that
state
petition.
takes over, because they're looking to get rid of Browningtons and East Charlestons. They don't
Yeah.
want that.
You're right.
They'll step right
Oh,
in
of
and do
course.
it themselves.
That's right.
If you don't
And
have,
that's worse.
That's right.
and I think there's a date on it right now where if your town
Bunch
doesn't
of
have something,
vultures.
you go to the state level, and I don't remember what that date was, but it's not far away.
No, it's not. And it's absolutely,
So the biggest thing that I can
Wow.
say is if you look out to zoning and you see things that need to be addressed, does that go to planning commission?
What's the plan? You gotta come to planning board meeting.
if I may, real quick. So we've been working for several months on the zoning bylaws, for several months. And it's posted, the meetings are on Mondays at 5:30. We encourage everybody to come, we encourage residents to come, provide your input.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, it's, it's Mike, it's Jane, it's Mark, it's Billy, it's Ann Bedravich, and myself, and that's it. Nobody else comes, right? So then the only people who are having input are the people in the room, right? So I really do encourage residents, if they have more to say,
That's right.
come to the
I
meeting.
mean,
It's on the agenda. Feel free to come. You're welcome to state your opinion. And please do help us shape the zoning bylaws because you live here too.
I might be able to have more time now that I won't be a homeowner. I'm selling it. I can't do this anymore.
okay, so
That was.
any more public comment?
But if you sell your house and move out of town.
Again?
Oh, I'm not moving out of town. Don't you think that one?
Oh, I thought you were just.
We address it or just-
Just say something so that it's on the record. So I just wanted to tell you that, there was a arborist that was coming to town, and I talked to Noah, and he told me, he was away on vacation. And then I called him on the first, and it wasn't happening. And he asked me if I had gotten it. Yeah, he asked me if I had gotten an estimate. I have an estimate here, and it's 88,000 for 25 trees, and they're 14 feet. Mine are a lot taller than that. It's dark American arborvitae. So that's including putting the trees in and the root balls and stuff like that. But so I just wanted to tell you that's the estimate. You did tell me that one of you, I'm not sure of your names. I'm sorry.
I'm Greg Manning.
Manning? Oh, okay. Okay. And then I wasn't sure of your name.
Pierre Gervais.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you, Gwen. And we'll see what we
Look
can,
at that and see what we can do.
yeah.
And just so you're aware, the next step is I submit this to the insurance. The insurance will,
They did call me, just so everyone knows. They did
Yes.
call me right away.
yes, they did. They're it's very good about that. I'll submit this to them, they'll review it, and then they'll either approve or deny the claim and or approve a portion and so on and so forth, and let me know where we go from there.
The rock walls moved, so someone can fix that and take away the debris is still left there all on the yard, all over the place.
The debris, we can do the rock wall,
The rock wall got moved when that truck came by.
it got hit.
Oh, yeah, I had said it's on the minutes of the last meeting. Did it with the machine.
Yeah.
Dislodge the rock.
Do you have pictures?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
That's good. I don't remember anything about.
I don't
that.
remember. I am really sorry. I honestly don't remember about the rock wall. I know you said
We
there was
just
a,
listened to it, him and I.
right, I'd have to go back because that part with,
Yeah.
honestly,
Oh, I
with the
don't-
flooding and everything that's gone
I
on.
know you were busy thinking about
I've had my brain in a couple of different places, so I definitely
It's a
apologize.
couple of maybe 2 to 3 foot.
Not a big.
Yeah, it's a
diameter
little rock
rocks that need
wall
to be
right on
protected.
top of the, and I can't do it.
It's like 2.
I'm talking, last year we did it too. Mentioned something that they didn't fix it, but now I've got it works.
It's not, they're actual stones, not a rock, not a stone wall like a,
Yeah,
like a,
well, they're-
like
they're
you'd see in a
just-
field.
They're like, there might be a couple on top.
Okay, that makes more
Yeah,
sense. Okay.
above the mailbox. Should be really easy to fix.
Okay,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
it
the
doesn't look
debris
like
is still there. Yeah, but I can't do it.
okay.
But I just want to say something else is that like that machine used in that area that close to my house is very dangerous because there's blades on that. And if any blade, I've known somebody before where if the blade flies off, like someone or put it on my window or something. I'm like 20 feet from the road anyway, it's that 15.
Right.
My quote, that quote he gave me is for 25 trees. I have 50 trees there, but those are 14 foot, I think, aren't they? Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you that it's less than what it really was, so,
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
just
Thank you,
a heads
Gwen.
up, if we are able to assist with, we'll definitely get the debris taken care of. If we are able to assist with the rock wall, I do apologize, it will be some time because
Okay, thanks
the
for going
flood,
on. Yeah, just so
all
you
the
know.
roads take precedent, just heads up.
Yeah.
They're not going.
I didn't think
Unless
so.
someone fixes one. But,
I don't, I'm sorry, I drive by there, and I don't think they're in the road where somebody's gonna hit.
No.
If anything, they're gonna
Well,
slow
the
people
brush-
down on that corner. Let's be honest, it's slowing people down.
They are in code.
There's one just a side.
25 miles an hour in that spot's a little hairy anyway.
Dangerous, you know, to have that. Wasn't the appropriate, that they could have used some loggers and could have let me know what was going on, not have to come home my perch that were nesting there and stuff like that, you know, just changed my yard. And any tree that's gonna be there, you know, you said privacy from the neighbors, if they take them down and replace them. I just don't have that privacy that I want, so.
Okay, thank you, Gwen. Thank you for stopping in. Any other public comment? All right, let's go to the Norwich Solar.
So in your guys' packet, you've got, some of you have more than one packet from Norwich, some of you just have the main packet that's approved for information. There's about 3 different packets of it. So you should have one from Vermont Public Utility Commission, or
So we're all in a U.
You can sit over there. Yeah, just sit right here. Yep. There's more seats if you guys want to. Okay. Thank you for having us, or letting us speak at your select board meeting. My name is Martha Staskis, and I'm the Chief Development Officer at Norwich Solar. And with me is Jeff Martin. I introduced you while you were away, and I screwed it. I was Jeff. Jeff, I'll just pass up right now.
you call me Greg. For
I do call him Greg. It's GE. I mean, come on. Anyway, Jeff is a project manager with Norwich Solar as well. So we're here to answer questions, I hope mostly, but we put together a little, oh, you got copies of the present, okay. So we put together a presentation. We also have copies of the 45-day notice. Is that in the packet? The advance notice? Oh, we pass those out. And we brought larger maps. So
I
that,
like large maps.
I do too. As long as I have my glasses on. So this is the map that went with the notice. The notice that was sent is a requirement of the Public Utility Commission that basically says if you're going to file a petition to the Public Utility Commission, that you give the community notice and the neighbors at least 45 days before you file an application. We're not ready to file an application, but we wanted to get the information out. I have a couple more if you need it. We wanted to get the information out so that we could have a conversation just like this. This project is proposed to provide power to Vermont Electric Co-op. It would be a direct sale. The energy that's generated from the solar array will go to Vermont Electric Co-op and their customers, ratepayers. It is, we were approached by the landowner, Fred Raphael. He's looking to figure out what he can do with his land. He has sold the farmhouse to Rob Simpson and 25 acres. And he's looking at how he pays taxes. So he approached me and asked about leasing a portion of the property for a solar array. We have been studying the environmental attributes, the ability to even interconnect it with Vermont Electric Co-op system. An advantage of the location is the fact that there is a 3-phase line right on Route 105. So it's literally right at the bottom of the hill, less than a mile. And I believe in the work that I've done. I've been doing projects for a long time, 25, 30 years, that this will not have an aesthetic impact. It's up at the end of the class 3, class 4 road. There is a vast trail that goes perpendicular to where the array would be on the portion of Basil Hill Road. The land rises to the east. It goes up, so you won't see it at all from downtown. And even looking from Charleston as you're coming south on 105, I don't believe you'll see it there because there's trees and vegetation on the other side of Basil Hill Road. The equipment is, would be approximately 15 feet high. The panels, they're basically installed to be 3 feet off of the ground, and they're at about a 35-degree tilt. And then they are about 15 feet at the highest point. So most of the trees, or not all of the trees in the area, are significantly taller that surround the array.
Where on the big map is it located?
On the
Where your pinky is.
sorry. So north is at the top of the map. And there you go.
These are the rows.
Oh.
When's the last time you was up on Basil Hill? Right.
They
got rid of the house.
Like 60 years ago.
Oh, no, that's little lines.
Yeah,
I'll take you up there.
before I went in the army.
Yeah. Well, same.
Okay.
here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what is happening right now is we have collected some environmental data. And we have provided that to the Agency of Natural Resources, their wetlands people. The Fish and Wildlife Department is looking at it. We've also reached out to Historic Preservation, the Division of Historic Preservation, and they'll look at the aesthetic or historic attributes in the area. The big one really is having Vermont Electric Co-op study it, and they will tell us what it will cost to interconnect the project and if there's line improvements required. So we're really waiting for that at this point. What am I forgetting? The pictures in here, we thought it would just be helpful to share sort of, well, we got that I want to acknowledge the comments from the Planning Commission. I recognize that there are concerns there with aesthetics and wildlife. And in transportation. So we wanted to provide the select board with some pictures of the kind of equipment. Basically, the installation process is that we would prepare the site, and that would be cutting the trees that are needed to open up the space a little bit more. It's primarily an open field already. And then what happens is we lay underground a conduit that goes between the rows, and then we put in the posts, and that's what this picture illustrates, the posts. The crews come in and put up the panels. The kind of equipment that's required to deliver those posts and panels is a tractor trailer bed, like a log. How are you gonna get that up there? Like a log truck? They do it. The last thing we want to do is build more roads, really. So we will be, obviously, I think it's obvious, we would be responsible for the condition of the road to improve it, to be able to get that equipment and then maintain it that way. If the town does not want that done, we would return it to the condition it's in now. I mean, there's, washout, but we would work with the town to not have it be worse. It's really bottom line. You have to talk, we're talking to them. I mean, you have to ask them.
You can ask us a question then.
Yeah.
It's an eye, and if there's damaged materials from a storm or a tree branch or any cracking, do they come in and clean that up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I got most of that. So one of the things that Norwich Solar is we're vertically integrated. We do the development work. We have engineers in-house. And then we have a construction crew, and we also have an operations and maintenance crew. And our operations, the solar array is monitored remotely. So we'll know every hour. I mean, it sends out a message if there's a drop in the generation, and then we have, sometimes they have cameras. We don't have cameras at all projects, but if there's a need for that, we would install cameras so that we can see if there's damage or what the extent of the damage is. And then we have what's called Runtime Solar is our O&M division, operations and maintenance division. They're also the ones that will maintain the facility. We usually cut the field at least once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on how fast the vegetation grows. So yes, we would be maintaining it.
This is currently a field, correct?
It's both. I mean, it's the majority of it. I was actually doing some measurements today. So the array would sit on 9 acres and there's about 2 acres of trees that would be cut.
So what about erosion? Cutting trees, and I know that there are people on just the road itself.
Yeah, we're up on,
You're going the other way?
we're up on the flat part, up on top. You go all the way past the Moultons, where the farm is. You go past that, up the hill and around the corner before you get to, with Buck Brook and, before you get to the other side. We're upward.
Is this County Road, is that 105?
No, County Road's over on the other side. It's where the Bass Trail is.
It's further this way.
Yes,
Hazel
further.
Hill Road. And then, okay, so I'm gonna see where are the homeowners here?
Okay. So you come up from,
This is Hazel Hill Road.
oh, sorry, 105 is over here. Yeah, I'm upside down.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Mr. Porter's here. And then,
You got Ashman over here somewhere.
Yep.
not, why am I upside down?
Here.
Oh, you're down, thank you. So,
Or do you have the?
oh, it's here.
What, sorry?
So Basil Hill is over here, 105 is over here.
Hazel Hill.
Well, it goes all the way up
Okay,
this
yeah.
way. So, but it comes, 105 is over here. I
So
see
the
105.
Oh, okay, you're right.
So
Okay, yep.
105 is here, Basil Hill comes up here, and
that's
Fred's
dotted line.
property is basically, there's 240 acres on both sides of it. So there's one house on this on this corner, they're new
105.
owners.
Okay, okay.
And then Rob Simpson bought this house, which was Fred's farmhouse, at 25 acres.
That's what I
Okay.
was asking.
And Fred owns the rest of it.
Mostly.
And then the Moultons are right here. The farm, the mobile home, it's right there.
Wow.
And then you
Travis
have,
Moulton. And then you come all the way around,
Fred's
and then
house.
this goes
This is
down to
property.
Charleston.
Sorry.
yeah,
That's the
Okay,
property.
that's Buck
Well,
Brook.
it's sold as.
I know it as Buck Brook, and then this is, I guess, County Road. I don't think that-
yeah.
And then this is Tardif's,
Okay, I know where this is.
Ashman, Tardif,
And it's a
Ashman.
Ashman.
small percentage. It's
I guess
Oh,
their
Tardif.
daughter's name is Tardif. I can't remember which is. the
So they
parent.
both live?
No, I think it's put it into the kitchen.
Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna make it,
Is it Tardif or Ashland?
it's Ashman.
There's a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Ashman there because that's
You'll
how I
know
know
it, right.
it. Okay.
And then, Lisa Moore has a parcel that's out here, a camp that's out here where the cars are. And that's it.
So this letter, the 45-day letter is dated May 17th,
Right,
and it shows that it was sent to these locations.
right.
I'm assuming that you've gone past the
45 days.
45 days.
45 days.
Yeah.
and no opposition.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the-
no, there are people that around the project don't want it. They're unhappy, they're,
This is 50 in the packet. These are letters.
yeah, there are concerns about aesthetics and wildlife and
Erosion.
erosion, I'm not quite, I don't really, so first of all, the state of Vermont will require a stormwater construction erosion control plan, and implementation of the array is done under that construction permit.
And that's one of those on water collection things.
Yeah, you have to channel all the
Yep.
water, okay. And then, the life of the project will be vegetated underneath the array, it will be grass, it'll be a field just like it is now. So, I don't, the erosion control is all part of the civil engineering and the layout of the array.
What's being,
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Sure, no, absolutely. I do better when you ask me questions, so thank you. The state of Vermont will also, the Public Utility Commission has a rule, it's called, I refer to it as Rule 5
Right, right.
5.900, yeah, well, here, give this to them. That outlines the requirements for decommissioning, and in particular, the project has to put up a line of credit security bond that will be held at the Public Utility Commission for the life of the project. It has to be renewed either every 5 or 7 years. I think. Three. Thank you. I'm glad you know.
I read it.
Thank you. No, thank you. That's very helpful. So decommissioning is regulated by the state. The Agency of Agriculture has conditions that this is on prime ag soils. So the Agency of Agriculture, Farm and Markets will have conditions that they will implement on the CPG, which relate to putting in the array and not disturbing those prime ag soils. If we're not looking to like scrape off the topsoil or anything. We just want to put the posts in. So, but you do put in a driveway where the transformer will be, and which is short. And then you have to trench, as I was talking about earlier, to connect the rows. Well, when we trench for those rows, we take the soils out in the soil layers, and then you put them back in. And again, their requirements will be applicable for decommissioning. If we disturb prime ag soils, we have to stockpile an equivalent amount of prime ag soils. So they'll be maintained on the site. He's got good questions.
Yeah, I have a number of questions.
Well,
I'm letting them talk first.
yeah.
So what is the life of these?
So basically the project would be a 30-year lease with Fred, with a couple of 2 5-year extension options. I'll tell you, I relate it like the tires on my car. You can swap out the panels because your electrical wiring is already installed. So it would be great, since that infrastructure, the posts and the wiring is all there, to just keep it going. But that's going to be the property owners agreement. The project will pay taxes to the town to what we expect based upon the tax rate. We're estimating it's around $13,000 a year annually. And as those taxes go up.
And what?
How many acres?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, how many acres is it?
The footprint of the array is approximately 9.5.
What's Vermont Electric paying you per kilowatt
We
hour?
don't have a contract.
I thought so, okay.
Okay.
I just know,
We're talking to.
I'm solar.
So what, you're selling?
Yes, I am. So
You'll get a better rate than we will.
well, I don't believe, it, but anyways, I was just a question. All right.
All right, sorry.
What
All
are you asking of the board, I guess? Or is this just information?
Well, we would love to have your support. So we have received, so let me go back to the process for that question, okay? The requirement of the Public Utility Commission is that I have to file testimony, and I'm going to answer and talk about all of these things that I've talked about here tonight. I'm also going to talk about how the project, I don't believe, will impact the orderly development of the region. We have to address the town plan and how it is in compliance, or if it's not. We have to respond to every comment that we've received. And so all of the letters that we got, I will write their name and what they're basically, if it was aesthetics and wildlife, and then say how we've addressed that. So we'll address all of those comments in there. We will prepare an aesthetic assessment, historic resource assessment, and orderly development assessment. And that will address those things. We have to talk about the impact on the town. We don't believe we won't affect municipal services. We don't create educational impacts. The access to the project is, it will definitely be active for about 2 months through 3 months while we're installing. It's like, clearing the site, then installing this rack and panel. And then it's I equate it again like building a house where it's, you have the shell and now you have the guys wiring all the panels together. So you have pickup trucks. So, and that's the last part. And then we're done. And so we don't create extra traffic. We will have to keep the road open to this corner, the corner.
It's not upside down.
The corner, the 90-degree turn on Maple Hill, we expect that to be the point of where the Vermont Electric Co-op will bring the line to. And so we have to keep that open. And if it's a class 4 town road or the town is not plowing it, we will plow it. So we will have to maintain that for VEC. Go ahead.
I believe his property is one of the properties that's currently not posted against hunting.
I think it is.
It is posted? Okay, then it will
Fred-
not impact that aspect then.
Yes,
That's a
there's
big thing.
already.
That's a big thing here is a lot of
Oh,
hunting. I'm just
absolutely.
wondering
Well,
how you would handle a stray bullet, because they happen.
You know, I hear you. I used to do, I didn't work up here, but I used to do wind energy. And up in New York State, and that was a concern up there. But, you know, hunters are there to hunt. They're not
Right.
really looking to shoot at wind turbines.
No,
or
no, no.
solar panels.
But it
No.
happens, it happens.
That's what insurance is for.
Okay.
That's our problem.
Yes, that question. So
It-
other,
excuse me, it will have a fence around it, but it'll be like in these pictures, it'll be like a wildlife fence.
It'll be insane. It'll be that 8-foot long, 8-foot high wildlife.
Yeah, wire.
So they can't get in,
Right, but that's so they don't stick their finger in the
Right.
socket, but.
because
Okay,
they
wait.
don't, no, not
we
to.
say we already landowners that aren't happy about this. Other than maybe a small increase of taxes on this property, where else does Island Pond benefit from this?
Well, so I would say, this is my personal opinion, but a VEC, you're gonna see VEC is gonna have to look for new sources of power. And so having this distributed generation in a more local setting, those electrons go to the closest outlet, right? It's a meter, there's a revenue meter and there's an electron meter. But realistically, those electrons are going to stay local on the VEC system. And as VEC looks to add more generation, in-state generation, I don't want to get into the policy, you
I
know.
just say, my power goes to Johnson, it don't go to Island Pond.
Right.
So,
No.
I mean,
No, well,
I'm not trying to be facetious with you or be judgmental with you. I'm just saying, down the road, we all know that solar is going back into the grid and it helps everybody environment. I just was wondering over these 20 years, because I had a 20-year contract, what is gonna bring in? We gotta remember, we all got landowners around you that are disapproving us. It's gonna be a hard buy. I just wanna know, do you see any future aspects to where this is actually gonna benefit the village? Or can you put a proposal out there where we're gonna gain from this?
Yeah,
Other than Vermont electric bills,
no, that's true.
keep their bills down.
I also think, well, I
Also
think
about
that
Ring
solar helps to preserve this land. As the requirements from that decommissioning plan, everything has to come back out. So
30
that,
years later.
what's that? Yeah,
30
so
years.
it's conserved, that land. If Fred sells that and puts to someone interested in doing housing, then it doesn't come back. Right, it's subdivided and.
But back to the question, 30 years, I'm not gonna care. But what I'm saying is for the future of what's going on with this, where does it actually, other than the taxes,
Taxes.
which is that, what, I mean,
What do you want?
well,
I don't,
I wanna know the prospects of where's your profit compared to what the village is gonna get out of this? And never mind Vermont Electric, you said they weren't even gonna get what I'm getting paid. So what's this about?
I think we're all in this together. I mean, the thing with our electric system is it doesn't stop at the town border, right? I mean, we're all benefit. I'm in the Green Mountain Power Service territory. So where is my power coming from? I have to get it from somewhere. And would I rather get it from Vermont Yankee or some natural gas plant or solar. And, I'm a geek. I just like clean air. So I don't want any more natural gas
You have
plants.
solar at your house?
Yes, I do.
Good, yeah. And who do you sell your power to, Vermont Electric?
I'm in Green Mountain Power Company.
Good for you. So you sell your power back, and what did they give you, a kilowatt hour?
No, I use what
Use everything?
I use, my system is sized for what I
Nice.
at my house.
Yeah.
I have heat pumps and I have a wood stove.
I've got all.
That's my system.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm
So
just trying to find out where the benefit's gonna be for Island Pond.
To clarify, for the board, after they've given their presentation, you've asked your questions. What I need from you is your position. That then determines how I proceed with the town, because you're telling me that whatever position you take, for or against, doesn't matter to me. That's how I proceed with the Public Utility Commission.
Yeah, and you.
this is a private,
Public.
this is a private contract between you and the landowner.
Landowner, right?
What does the town have to say about it?
That's what my question.
The permit, so when we submit a permit to the state, the Public Utility Commission, you will get a full copy of it, of all of the studies that have been done, and you will be asked to comment on whether you support or don't want this or do want this, whether it's consistent with your town plan or not, if you agree with what our assessment says on that. What am I forgetting?
I mean, I think we found ourselves in a very unique position here
Yeah,
where we have a landowner who wishes to develop their land to perform a task at the exact same time that we are being asked to get rid of any controls that we have on. And it's like, right, so we're definitely, what I'm hearing, I mean, granted, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I have not had many people, but I guess there's people out there. But I don't think if you're within the state, the federal, the local laws, and you're abiding by and dotting your T's and dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Yep. We're going to screw that right up. Obviously, there's a process that you guys have to follow to deal with the landowners.
Yep.
And I'm sure that there must be, I mean, if 100% of the landowners all said vehemently opposed to it, does your regulations allow you to proceed?
Yeah, well,
Or is that why you're coming to us?
well, first of all, that's just the way, I just think it's only fair to talk to people. Right?
Yeah.
I guess I got to start from there. So I had wanted to come to the planning commission much earlier, but I had some family problems that I could not get up. We could not get up here. So it was our bad that we weren't here in June. I would have liked to have been here in June. After we reached out to Noah and said, who can we talk to? We got on your agenda, and I would still like to go and discuss this with the planning commission. Because you are the parties to the Public Utility Commission, the Select Board and the Planning Commission. And you don't have to comment now, but I would encourage you to comment once the full application is pulled together. All right. I mean, you guys, I live in Waterbury, so I know about flooding. You guys got your hands full, and I'm very appreciative of that. So, I don't want to say don't comment, go for it. Do whatever you want. We're here to answer questions. We're here to have faces to names. If you have questions after we leave, we want to be as transparent and open and accommodating as possible. I know that the development of renewable energy projects can be very controversial. Some people, you're either over here or you're over there.
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground, exactly.
You know, man, how many landowners adjoining this property?
They're on that list.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
and so I wanna,
Because see, it's all the,
Let her address the issue at hand without any sidebar questions.
there
I
was,
have questions, many.
there was a question about, who we notice. We're required to notice the adjoining property owners and the select board, the planning commission and the regional commission. And, the requirement, again, we have to follow these rules, okay? The requirement is that we notice the adjoining property owners of the certified grand list. So we actually called and got confirmation of those names. I know that there has been a claim that, and I was hoping to get that answered actually, that we didn't notice the appropriate people. And based upon the grand list, that's who we noticed. So I still don't know the answer to that. What was wrong with our noticing? But for example,
I'm on the grand list and I never got a notice.
you're not an adjoining
You're not
property owner.
adjoining.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I
His
see it
property is
now.
massive, right?
yeah, 250 acres.
And he's talking about 9 acres of 250 acres. So you're gonna have people that are on this list
Right.
who are in the next town over because he
Right.
owns across multiple towns, right?
Right.
He owns, there's at least two towns that go through there.
Charleston and West, I don't think we reached Westmore. So, well, maybe we did.
There's I own one in Charleston that both go into his property.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because he goes down to 105, we did on the other side of the
The
road.
other side of the road.
Can't see his whole property.
No. I'm saying, if you go up the parcel viewer,
Yeah,
it's a massive
Yeah.
property
yep. Well, and that's why he's trying to figure out how to,
to preserve it and keep it from being broken up into further development.
the address you can find it with is, for example, Rob Simpson, who bought a farmhouse, is 396 Basil Hill. And Rob Simpson claimed he didn't get noticed. Well, he's not listed on the grant list. He's listed under Fred Raphael.
It's
So,
about it after, I would assume.
right. Right.
Because the grand list only goes,
Right, exactly. And it's, so I have, Mr. Simpson has called me and I've spoken to him and I've sent him this 45-day notice, so he has it. I think that but I don't know, the claim came, I don't know, do you remember who made the claim that we didn't notice?
Well, the planning commission's letter.
Oh, it was in the
mentioned it.
planning commission's letter, so another reason for us to talk to the planning commission. I don't know how they arrived at that.
That's my answer. Okay, my questions.
Okay.
Looking at the map and looking at the elevations, there is a slope down towards Basil Hill Road. You've got 9.5 acres, of which the array is taking up.
Yep.
Okay, so each row, right, we've had 200-year floods 2 years in a row. Okay, so we've got some wetlands in here.
Sorry.
We have some wetlands in here.
Yes.
That,
Class 2, we have to avoid.
okay, they retain water. When you put an array, just a single array across stretch of land, you are removing that square footage of soil absorption. So all your runoff off your array panel is concentrated on, like a 3-inch area. Dripping down off the array,
There's a drip edge
there's a drip edge.
Right.
Where does that water go?
into the grass,
Into the grass, concentrated in
in the row.
the row.
Yeah.
So you've got a concentration of water that is not being absorbed by the rest of the square footage under the array, under the panel.
Hmm,
So you've got that runoff,
okay.
and I want to know how you're going to control that runoff.
So the runoff is, it's like it comes off of your roof of the house and it drops down to the ground. And then it's absorbed into the ground that's right there. As I talked about before, the underlying area of the entire site will be maintained as a meadow, as lawn, as a field. So you're not losing that absorption capability. You do have the sheeting of the water off of the panels, but it's going right down and then it's absorbed in the ground. We had with these last.
It's a concentration of water off the eave.
I 100%
Yeah,
get it.
it's not being absorbed, right? A little bit of it is being absorbed laterally
Right.
under the panel a little bit.
On-
As the slope goes, that water is traveling.
There's
down
no
the panel.
more water than if there were no panels there, right? It's the same amount.
It's the
of water.
concentration of
Right.
the runoff off the panel
Right.
to a concentrated area. This part of the ground is not absorbing the water. It's not getting direct contact of that water. So you've got a concentration of water at the bottom of your eave of your house.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That water, if it's on a slope, is going to travel the least resistance
Ground.
down.
In the ground.
No.
Once you get a saturation, we are already
Yeah.
at saturation now.
Wait, is that
So I'm sorry if I'm getting, my voice is getting elevated,
I'm
but
very respectful of what you're saying.
Okay.
We've had stormwater just went, I got 6 emails on, Monday? Was it Monday? I got 6 emails from the Agency of Natural Resources Stormwater Division saying that he had been out to look at these 6 sites. Fairleigh, Newberry, St. Johnsbury, all in this area. And we were good on all of them.
what is the water retention plan?
Is that where that
Because
puddle comes, that pond comes in?
A stormwater retention pond,
how are you containing the runoff?
it's absorbed into the ground.
I don't believe it. I
Okay,
don't believe it. No way. Not after, once you've got ground saturation, which we are at right now, it is all runoff and it's going to erode. And
I'm with you. I understand your concern. We just don't agree, but I understand your concern and we're regulated by the state stormwater division. All right. And so what I'm trying to say is I recognize what you're saying, but even after this last storm, all of our sites were in compliance and did not have erosion control problems.
how many of those sites are equal to this one with a slope to?
St. John's.
In the
St.
Johnsbury in
John's has got a
particular.
bigger slope than that.
Yeah,
Um,
and I got 5 sites.
if it washed out that road in that scenario, you guys would
Right.
repair that road.
Correct.
No problem.
Oh,
May I stop you?
It's, you guys.
I need to apologize. Your name again, sorry.
Martha.
Martha, I apologize, Martha. And asking, coming to the select board meeting, I'm looking at this and then I went back into your folder and I read the recommendations. What brings you in front of the select board once the planning commission doesn't really recommend it? What are you trying to tell us that's different?
I haven't been to the planning commission yet.
Oh, it says here,
They only read the
read
letter.
the recommendations.
Yeah, I would like to
Gene,
talk to
you're on
them
it.
about their recommendations.
Pardon me?
I would like to talk to them about. their
Oh, okay.
recommendations.
Oh, well, the way I read this, it's,
What are you looking at? I just,
The planning commission.
yeah, what I'm reading is
Oh,
that
okay.
information's already been there,
That's based
No.
on the 45-day notice letter.
it's based on this information. And
which
that's
is
not-
no longer existent.
No, but it's not,
But then I don't understand what you're asking of the select board when this is still valid.
I'm actually not asking anything of the select board. I want to come and share information about the project.
You gotta excuse me, I'm not sure, that's all, I don't know.
My experience is that putting something in writing with no idea who the hell Martha Staskis is, sending it to a town and expecting everybody to be thrilled about it doesn't work. All right, but I'm required to do this. So we sent it out and now I'm getting out here to further explain what's in it, to explain what this is, to explain the public utility process, to explain where the power is going, to explain the construction. I can't do all that in a letter, to be honest. And so I was actually surprised when the planning commission sent a letter, but I understand it. They got this letter and nothing else. And so what are they supposed to do? They're reacting.
Well, I'm just like, I'm still learning all this
Yeah.
different stuff, so I'm asking
Yeah.
not Not negative, I just want to know.
I think one thing to add, Lisa Moore came to me and she came to the select board members with packages of the Norwich solar thing. So I have a lot of information, Greg and Mike do too, based on
This letter.
concerns. No, the whole thing, the letter plus,
The letters
the,
From-
map,
Their letter.
their letters,
Got it.
plus their concerns
Okay,
of all the
great.
people and stuff like that.
Yep.
I reached out to Noah and I said, we've got some concerned citizens about this project.
Yep.
What is the route approach for us to get something beyond the planning commission letter? That, because the select board is the ultimate, well, actually, the town manager is, but the select board is the ultimate board that would make an overall decision.
Well, he reports to you guys, right?
Well, yes, it's a symbiotic, it's a symbiotic.
Okay.
It's a symbiotic
I
relationship.
got it.
Regardless, by governance and Vermont statutes and all that, regardless, the board itself still holds
The legislative.
the legislative and power.
Yeah.
And so what I asked Noah is, how can the select board reinforce what some of the concerned citizens were having, yay or nay, and what is the venue for that? And I think, Noah, I thought, I'm not speaking for you, you reached out and said, would it be good for them to come and see us? Is that how this, so that's why they're here. It's based on concerned citizens
actually-
and packages that we receive.
I actually emailed him. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then it was,
Happened within.
Oh, perfect.
then it was. for
Turn on the
2 weeks.
planning. Yes, yeah.
So that's the background, Mike, as to
Okay, well,
why.
I mean-
I don't get emails, I don't.
It's not email. She
No,
walked
no,
in.
no, I got that too, but I just,
No, I certainly.
when I read this, and it's just a question,
I never-
what it's asking here, that's all I'm doing. And I just don't understand the aspect of coming to the select board, so, and I just.
It's an informational meeting.
Thank you. I got answered.
Right.
I got answered.
Exactly. We're not.
I mean, right, in all experiences, the squeaky wheel, the ones who are upset, the ones who are okay, and it goes for even like we see it all the time. Business reviews. Somebody's upset, you're gonna see all those before you, if I'm experiencing something, I'm more likely to, well, not me personally, but a lot of people are more likely to say something if they're opposed. If it's a change, if it's something that upsets the norm. So, I mean, I have not yet, I mean, I don't have an opinion on this personally yet. I haven't talked to any of the landowners that are for or against directly. But I think the information that you provided is extremely helpful in getting information
I think,
and understanding
so I
what.
cut off Greg, but I think you have more questions.
No,
I want to make sure that
I need.
that you get your.
I'm gonna get
your say.
you some stormwater information. Okay, I do want, because I
That's
can't
all.
let anything.
That's it.
Okay. So are there any more questions from Martha? We took up a lot of your time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, it's important.
Oh, it's very-
Yeah.
It's important.
Well, I hope just, there's a lot here and it's a lot to take in. And if you would like us to come back, we certainly come back. I do want to get on the agenda. I'm trying to get not family matters, but vacation time in. It's summertime.
Martha, just so you're aware, first and third Mondays of
Yep,
the month.
I know 'em. I
Okay.
know 'em. Thank you
do
so
some
much.
sort
We actually, I'm a chair of the planning commission in Waterbury and we meet on the first. And so I thought I was
Oh.
gonna be here Monday night and we
Sorry.
moved our meeting to tonight. And then I told them, oh, we're going to the select board instead. And so they're back there meeting. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time and let us know if there's other questions.
Yeah.
And look to the select board or planning commission.
And just for the board, you guys don't need to make a decision. You can absorb the information.
Yes.
Give it 2 weeks, come back and we can readdress it. But I want to make sure you have both parties' information, you put a name to the face, and you guys had everything at your disposal to make an informed decision.
Okay.
How come I don't have one of these red Norwich full?
I would like to tell the select board, I am on the planning commission and we only had one side, they were not there. So the planning commission never heard Norwich Solar side. All we got was the letter and everybody coming in and yelling at us that we needed to oppose it. So that was kind of the background from the planning commission. The planning commission really didn't have much of an opinion on it. We just kind of agreed that we would go along with the people who were there.
We'll come see you if we can.
Very, very seriously. Everybody has one of these red Norwich.
Not everybody. It's what we had remaining. Right there.
So there's the TV.
This might be,
I'll put them in the-
I I have one.
Mine was brought to me,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
put
from
yours in your
Lisa.
packet.
hand delivered.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
I
Lisa brought.
Yeah.
I have one from
Who doesn't
Lisa.
have one?
Me,
So-
Here. You took mine.
thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Flood
Yep.
recovery.
What's that?
Good luck with the flood recovery.
Oh, no, that's much,
I've
much
mucked out
appreciated.
enough,
Yeah, that's much.
Guess I got information later than everybody else. Because I've yet to
Okay,
see this before today.
So let's go on. Vermont Electric Co-op, they're not meeting with them today.
What?
The Vermont Electric Co-op meeting?
Oh, yeah, that's, so just to give you some background on that, I'm gonna, meet with Mike and myself, and we're gonna meet with Vermont Electric Co-op to have a conversation about how we can move the project forward for downtown, since it's an infrastructure project.
Okay,
And kind of go from there.
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted to let you guys know what's happening in the next week.
I wasn't sure if that had to do with this. I'm like, wait. Okay,
No, okay. That was it.
so, roads update?
Yeah, Tim Island Square Road is closed. Grand Avenue is closed. Stephen Loop is closed. Mountain Street, it's only local traffic during the day hours. People can definitely come up and down, of course, but, as the guys are working, just be cautious. And then 5 Mile Square Road, that is open today. You're all set on that.
Awesome. How are we on the beach?
A&R hasn't gone back.
Because I think the state is probably opening tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I'm like, I haven't called me back.
Anything else on the roads update?
That's all I've got.
Okay. HTO
Contract.
Innovations Agreement.
So I apologize in getting that late to some of you guys. It's just, I was looking for the contract from 2021. I couldn't find it, so I reached out. The water sewer operator, Roger, he's able to get it for me. So I forwarded that to you this morning. Again, I do apologize that it's coming in hot and heavy, but that was the previous contract in 21. And then they're asking for 5-year term agreement. H2O in the town of Brighton. Owner shall pay to operator as compensated for services an annual amount of $272,898 for the base fee, which will be payable by monthly installments of $22,741.50. The base fee will increase by 3% from August 1st, 25, and for the remaining of the current term. And just heads up, we're not under a contract right now. That's why Roger's very adamant about me getting this to you guys as quickly as possible.
And there's only 2 companies that offer this, and one of them already fired us or left or abandoned or whatever happened
Correct.
with Piscataway, and
Yes.
H2O is the
Yeah,
only
this is
one.
your only game in town.
And when we sign a 5-year
5-year.
contract for 3% each year, if inflation is 22%, they stay right at 3%,
Right.
correct?
And to give you a little background on that, from talking to some of the operators, right? So during COVID, at the town, we were able to make increases, right? Due to inflation, these guys were stuck because they were in a contract, they were locked. So while, that's great for us, right? It didn't necessarily help our operators who do a lot of work for the town, and some of them, we've been very grateful to borrow some of them who have CDLs recently for the flooding, and it's been very helpful. We're also getting $100,000 of smart meters. So that's something to really note as well. Yes.
To that point. No, I'll let you finish because I have a number of issues to talk about here on this.
That's all I had, sir.
Okay. One, I don't appreciate the last minute. I know you apologize, but this should have been brought to the board long before this. They've been without a contract for how long? 2 months,
Probably
3
a
months.
week or two. It was in August.
There's an
Okay, okay. We need much more lead time when we're dealing with this. This is not just a trivial issue, as you pointed out, that you stated in your email this afternoon. I mean, this is significant. It's a 10% increase. Yes, it's under, that is fine. But this should have been brought to our attention long before this, months ago, as the contract was being negotiated or talked about between you and this organization. Number two, there is nothing in this amendment about the new meters.
No, that is,
No, so there's no commitment there.
no, that is committed, that is signed, that was at a
Where?
previous
Separate
select board
agreements.
meetings, yes, that was the SLI inventory. That was all taken care of and signed.
Okay, so that's $100,000. Is that it? I mean, is there any town amount of money to continue replacing meters?
That's on us to maintain.
Okay,
helping us
so they're
catch up.
helping us with the meters.
Yep.
And you mentioned it would be more accurate. Well, what's not accurate about our current meters?
They're
It's
really
efficiency
old.
more than accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going
Smart.
by what the
So
email said.
smart meters are like your current house meter for your electric. It feeds the information back and the current meters, the little guy with his little wand has to walk up to each and every house
Okay,
and read the meter and then walk to the next house, read the meter, walks to the next one, as opposed to being able to
what's,
get that automatic feedback. Things like monthly billing could become coming from the water and sewer board if they had everybody on smart meters, which helps with because it's their, like they take care of that end of it. Like the
So
monthly
I think
billing.
these
Thank you.
meters, the ones we have now were put in 30 years ago. 'Cause I remember Reno was the one that put them in.
We started replacing meters, how long ago? 3 years, Teresa?
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 or 4
Yeah.
years ago.
They put how
And
much
the
in the
thing
budget?
is, the town really, we've just been paying for them, but we can't replace more than 10 a year. At that rate, we're gonna be a really long time before we get 700
Time to
meters.
change again.
how much is each meter?
About between $300 and $400. Depends upon what they need. Some we can use the existing meter and just put a new transmitter on the house. Other ones have to have a whole new meter.
Really, it should have, the water board, which didn't exist for a while, probably would have been the ones to say, hey, heads up, we're gonna be going into a contract
Okay,
negotiation.
thank you, but no, you need to be a lot quicker and forthcoming with information brought to the board.
This
Just
is-
found out.
You
So-
just got it.
So Roger just got the contract to me not that long ago. So Roger got the contract to me, which I sent to you.
How long ago?
You asked for additional information. I was like, oh, that's a great idea, right? And then I go and I'm searching for it. We don't have it. I don't know where it's at.
That's another issue.
It's very long.
It's a legal binding document and we don't have it.
Right. So I reached out to our operator. He does have it, and I have a copy now on file that I keep, right? My nice neat little folders, but some of the paper copies it is what it is, but I was there in 21. I can't speak to that, but I can tell you I gave you all the information I have as soon as I was able to get it.
How long have you
Well,
known that this contract was ending? And when? That's my point. My point is you're not being forthcoming
Well,
early enough with information that we now have to sign.
well, I think the water board is the one that would have got the information and they
The water
are
board didn't exist.
this, and the water board really is kind of their own little.
They're kind of their own little thing. They can
So
set rates as they
they
deem
were
necessary.
responsible for this.
They just can't
Right now.
sign the contract because it's the select board is the only one that can sign the contract on behalf of the town.
So we are not affiliated with the water and sewer boards?
Sewer board,
Yeah,
yes.
sewer board.
Then I've got a good question.
Like the planning commission?
Yeah.
No,
Water
No, it's
commission.
totally different.
Totally different board.
No, but it's like.
No,
Planning
planning
commission.
board, no.
May I ask a
Water is-
question then? And Mike, this is directed to you. I see on the time cards, there's water and sewer follow-ups for drain and wastewater meeting schedule. Why are we getting charged when that's a separate amenity?
Because you guys get reimbursed for that from water and sewer at the end of the year.
I never see that. I've never seen that.
You did last year. It came out.
I know
with
that, I think a year or two ago, didn't the town end up giving the water and sewer department $40,000?
They loaned them $40,000. They didn't give them $40,000.
Okay, and why is it not in our pay or any of these minutes see that we get this money back?
It doesn't run the same as the town.
I
Water
see.
and sewer is like a business that the town owns.
Well,
And so it,
still,
so it
I-
operates.
we
as a
don't see it.
separate- its finances are separate from the town, which is a benefit to the
Yes,
town in
like
most
the
cases.
school.
That's right.
So when does this, at the end of the year, this report comes out?
What report?
At the end of the year, I mean, we
For
get
the
there, I
water
mean,
and
the
sewer.
water and sewer
Their
board gets,
budget?
gets
Yeah,
the-
I don't know, the payback,
It'll be in their budget.
It'll be in their budget.
okay.
Yeah.
But that's only once a year, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Not to make this longer, but the school board once a year has to go to the town as part of the town meeting and request, whatever, $2.2 million for approval. It's like everything else. Does the water board, you're looking at me funny.
Theirs
No, I
goes
was
on
trying to
to-
understand your
The
question.
school board, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Does the water board and school board have to do the same?
No, so they are statutorily different. I don't know why Vermont set it up that way.
Yeah.
Most municipalities throughout the United States, it's under the local government.
Yep.
And that Osprey, and then you can just continue on.
Yeah.
And it would be in our budget and so on and so forth. They operate independently of you.
Yep.
They can come to your meetings, they cannot come to your meetings. They can raise and lower things as they deem necessary.
Yep.
And they don't have to ask you, which is
Yep.
kind of crazy.
The town itself can't change that because, when we had water and sewer boards in the past that didn't do anything, I mean, they literally were not there when, basically we didn't maintain any of our infrastructure. When I was on the select board, I'm like, how do we get rid of them? You have to go to the state legislature and it has to be this whole hoopla to try and get the water and sewer board abolished. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a whole, I mean, it'll be very expensive and a whole lot of work.
So I think,
Because it's
so I,
chartered
Mike,
separately.
no, I agree with you 100%. I don't think I'm trying to abolish. I guess what I'm trying to do is at the annual town meeting, as part of our process, we should highlight what their budgets are and what the townspeople are actually paying. So we can't control, but we certainly can highlight. And then let the townspeople, at least have a voice in terms of that aspect of it, not to approve or decline the budget. I'm just saying, if they're spending an inordinate amount of money, they're not doing their infrastructure problems, and the townspeople, which have in the past, are gonna have issue with it.
So when you say townspeople,
Yep.
it's the townspeople that are hooked up to the water and sewer system.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Rate
Just the
Yeah, just
confines.
the
I say rate people,
Yeah.
rate payers.
Yeah.
It's the ratepayers.
So I guess, yeah, we can't make a change, but we can certainly highlight what they're spending and what they're doing and not doing.
But their budget is in the book every year.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
both water sewer is in the book every year. It's
Well,
reported.
it's in the book as part of ours, right?
No.
It's
It's
a-
a
it's
separate, if you
separate.
look at the annual report for the town,
Yeah.
there is a separate report
Yeah,
for
for
water
water.
and sewer.
Yeah.
And
They
then
just don't get to vote on it because
Right.
you're either connected and paying your water bill, or you're not connected and you're not paying your water bill. Or you could be connected and not paying your water bill and you're not gonna get water pretty soon.
I think that's against the law, shut the water off. But anyways, that's another thing.
And then
It really does stink for the people that are hooked up though. Don't they take a percentage of the water bills? Don't they?
Yes, they do.
Towards the sewer and water though? Or I mean, towards the sewer or not? I don't know.
Is
I
that
don't
right?
hear you.
And I remember Marty used to get up.
You have a
and speak.
water bill?
Yeah, there's water and sewer, but I thought anybody paid, did they take a percentage of the water bill and give it towards the sewer?
No,
They don't?
They're two
We're on our
separate
own amenities? Oh, I was, okay.
Your bill, you have a.
I think what you're
and a water
looking at,
line?
Mike, is probably there's the water sewer operations account. And that's where
Okay.
the joint bills of the two entities from the two sites, because not everything,
I
certain
thought that
things
the
like rate
water
flow
department kind of kicked in a little bit at the end of the year to help to soften the blow. That's what I thought. It don't happen.
No, that'll cost you.
That's why I'm paying $1,000 every 3 months more than my taxes are. Yeah, okay. Answer my question. Thank you.
So I've got a couple follow-ons based on that. 2021, what was the cost of the contract that we had? What were we paying in 2021 for the same operation?
221,
2021.
no, 200, $221,000
Where did you
was
get that?
2020. I read the contract.
The contract I read did not have the amount of money The contract I read was for 2024. That's what
Right.
he
No, no.
sent us.
That's the one that
What he
he said.
sent us was the contract for 2024?
Yes,
That's what he just, yeah.
yeah. I want to know what we did
Oh.
in 2021. Roughly.
Get the town report.
Okay, when,
So while they're searching for that information,
But I did send two different.
you did. You sent, I read the one from this morning. That answered kind of this, but I didn't have anything on 2021 because there's obviously a big difference.
That should have been.
Oh, in
Rogers.
2021, you're not going to be able to use your budget because that's the year we switched companies mid-year.
That was they walked out.
Oh,
Yep.
that makes
Because
sense.
Piscataqua, I mean, we were lucky that H2O came in and didn't like rake us over the coals.
Do
because
we
they
remember
could have.
roughly, Mike, do we remember roughly what that was? Was it 200K, 270? I
He's
mean,
coming back with it, I think.
Hold on, I can look at the annual report from back then.
I got it.
He's got
But
it.
it's not gonna be a, an actual.
no,
number.
I got it.
Piscataway was the one that really kicked the ball down the road and kicked.
So in 2021, because it was a different company, was a 162,541.
Actually got a different number.
So
1 second.
Yeah, they pulled out after Marty
Yes.
passed away.
Right, so
Because-
nobody was getting
You may
paid.
have-
right?
Because they realized
because I
that
think in 2021, they were here half a year. This is what
Exactly.
We paid Piscataqua,
That's
and
right,
then H2O took over.
that's right.
That's why you see in this book, in your 2021.
Yep.
It started, for half the year, we paid Piscataqua, we
Yep.
paid them 162.
and then we paid nothing
And
after
then
that.
we paid H2O,
You did, okay.
yep. And then if you look under the proposed for 2022, when H2O took over, their contract was 248.
Okay. So that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
So there was
No, the
inflation.
first contract you sent out on Monday was signed in 2021, and that was with the previous company?
No, that was with
H2O.
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 Right, yes.
Okay.
After Marty died and Piscataway went.
And this amendment is for that contract.
Yes.
So this is the amendment, and what came out this afternoon was the 2024 contract?
It's July 9th. It's dated July 9th, 2021. Just what Teresa stated. If you go down on page, I just found it was, I think, 34, you'll find the $248,000, so on and so forth, that was listed there.
Okay, thank you.
So 240, 272, okay. Now, what do we get for 272? Like what's covered? Because I didn't really, I don't want to go through the whole 45 pages, but in
Right,
general
Right,
terms.
so for the 272,000,
Yep.
that is what pays your operators, first of all. That's
How many
Zach,
operators?
that's Andrew, that's Kian.
Okay, 3.
So it's
Okay.
those three.
Yep.
It pays their benefits, their insurance, all of that. It also includes H2O coming up, making sure all of your testing is good, doing all of the work, working with, I believe, the engineers and all of that on our new project. Basically running the plant. They're the ones that run the sewer and water plant, the sewer treatment and the water plant. And
Three
they're the
guys, the
ones that
three
pay
guys
the
that
three
we-
guys. They're the ones
Three
that
guys, plus
Yeah.
you get Roger's license, because Roger has the license.
license,
Yep.
yeah.
You get what?
Rogers license.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay. I
You
got it.
have
I
to
just
have a
wanted some information, so I
Yeah,
understand.
you have a
operator.
license.
No, it's really not that.
So do we
No,
have to
it's-
make a
It's
decision?
really
And
not that much money.
they own like all the vehicles and all that stuff, right? Or do we own
No.
those?
We own
Okay.
vehicles.
I was just
Yeah.
making sure on that.
We know what the increase will be to the taxes for the townspeople for this, based on two.
Water.
The water
Water.
users.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It doesn't go on taxes.
Doesn't go on
No.
taxes.
Oh, be
You'll
on
get your
the-
separate-
Goes to the water
Bill.
unit.
Just your water bill.
Yeah.
Water
just-
bill. We know what an
Again.
increase it would be?
It would,
No.
that would be their,
They might not,
they might not.
they might not
even-
increase the rate.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They might be able to keep the rate steady until another 6
We hope.
months.
They
you
could,
know.
They could, I know.
Yeah. We have no,
Actually, we factored that into this year's budget already. I remember because
I
we
think
knew
they
what
did
those,
that.
we had talked to them about their
Into-
increase
Yeah, it
last
goes
year.
into that last increase, right? If I remember right.
Yeah.
What was that, Teresa?
I said this contract with 3% increase was factored into the rate increase of the last
Right,
time,
right.
correct? That's what I
Yes,
thought.
and actually, I think when we did the budget last fall, we already, because there was what, a 10% increase this year, I'm pretty sure we included
That's right.
that in the budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that 10% increase is because the last, since last 3 years, they were locked in at a 3% increase, and now they've got to make that up, kind of like where we've been able to spread it out, 1% across 3 years, they were locked in.
Correct.
Correct.
They could not change.
So, when they could, they did.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
I have to, abstain from that, don't I? No,
What's that?
Yeah, because she's on the water board.
I can't do anything with this.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm asking for is for you guys to make a motion to allow me to sign on behalf of the town of Brighton, between the town of Brighton, H2 Innovations, for them to continue their contract and continue being our operators.
I motion to allow the town manager to sign the contract as written to allow H2O to continue operating our water sewer system for the next, what, 5 years contract? 5-year contract?
Second?
I'm including myself in this.
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
I
Yeah, I'm on the water
No,
board.
no, I know.
Okay,
Why? Because we need 3.
I did. I said, yes, I did.
Okay.
I always
you
say
can
aye. I always say aye.
Mike and Heather can't.
right,
Or
okay.
don't want to.
Conflict.
Okay, so pay orders? And we can have the town manager report.
That's a lot of people.
While you guys are doing pay orders, I'll go over the town manager report. In VDA, spoke with them, speed study, that fun stuff. They should be here, I'm hoping, next week. Again, the flooding has kind of shifted their schedule around a little bit, but as long as the roads are open, they should still be here. They're going to perform the speed study for us. They've recommended that we hold off on purchasing any signs until they've done the speed study, so they can kind of accurately tell us where to put it, instead of kind of, well, we think it should go up here versus back here. They'll be able to tell us with a fine tooth comb, and they'll also be able to give us a report.
Who's doing this? I'm sorry.
And
In VDA.
Thank you.
Round Hill Fence, called them back. Again, we had the flooding, so they didn't quite come out. Haven't heard back from them. They said they were gonna call me back today. We haven't heard anything. I'll keep following up. The other thing I would ask the board, and this is up to you guys, we're coming to a close on baseball season. We could wait to include this in the budget for 2025. That's up to you guys, though.
You said we're coming up to that. Is there any tournaments that are gonna happen between now and then? Softball tournaments, anything like that? I know baseball season for the kids is almost done, but
When's fall ball kickup?
right, that's what I'm concerned about.
Who runs that?
Same group of people.
Is this the money we all?
So they give me a calendar, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's what.
As long as it doesn't get pushed back so far next year, it's gonna be late in the season. And
Well,
other
that's
thing
that's
is,
what I was asking.
My,
So he's asking. a
say,
question.
the other aspect of it is that they usually have to go up and, in the spring, like actually take the snow off the field in order to play, because that's how early ball season comes. I would, if we've got the time now,
That's what I-
it's all in place by the time, because spring, it happens quick, and you're not gonna want to be putting in,
thank you.
posts and stuff like that while the ground is still frozen and covered in snow. Fall's really the best time to do that fun stuff.
We'll proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good question, Noah, but I think we need to just.
No, and that's like I say, let's pick up this loose ends, and thank you, Heather. I think it's very important, and we one thing, get it off the agenda, get this thing done with so we can proceed. We go next year, it might be another 2 months before we get it done, it'll be too late. We already talked about it, let's get it done. Thank you very much.
And the next thing is, the insurance claims with the arborist, right? Next question I have for you guys, I've called around to other arborists, again, flooding, I'm not using that as an excuse. They're telling me, unless you're giving us work, we're not coming, or you pay me $500. The other thing the board could also ask is say, just like Gwen brought us an estimate today, the estimate could be on the homeowner, and I could contact Greg and let him know. He procures an estimate, gives it to me, and then I file it with our insurance. That is probably the easiest way and quickest way to go. Otherwise, I'm going to need your permission to spend up to $500 to procure an arborist.
Can I give you a number of an arborist who may not have that stance with you?
Sure.
Yeah.
All three of them, but
Kirk. That's Kirk's last name. Hold on. Rind.
do you have his number?
RHYND.
Yes.
Kurt Rind.
He is an arborist and he may not have that issue.
So he would come out and do a free estimate, just so I'm clear, like there's no
Right.
dollar amount attached. to
Call
it.
him and ask him. He likely could.
Right,
There's his telephone number. I'm not gonna put it out loud on.
Record.
but,
Yeah.
but I need approval to spend a dollar amount if I am asked.
Wouldn't your adjuster take care of all of that? When our insurance company goes to send an adjuster? Why do we need an arbitrator out there to go see what, we all know what a tree costs. Instead of spending that money, why don't we just let our adjuster take care of the business? Why are we spending that money?
That's how Passive has chosen to do it. They're our insurance carrier.
Well, it's sad because you know what it's gonna come to anyways, is just to the adjuster.
For example, my vehicle, right? Zach backed into it. I have to take it, right? And Passive told me as a car owner, right? You need to take it to a shop and give us an estimate.
That is, yep.
And that was their prerogative.
But
And
I'm just telling you from past experience in the last year and a half, this is what's gonna happen to the town. You're gonna get an adjuster in there and they're gonna take the dollar amount of what a tree costs. I've already been there and then what the insurance company's gonna do is send an adjuster. So if we don't have to spend this money, I know that a 14-foot tree costs $2,500. And that, I've got paperwork to prove it. So I just want to see if we can save some money by,
no, I don't disagree at all.
I just don't know how you want to.
Well, I think that's why he's gonna call this guy to see, to
Right.
make sure that, because if he's gonna charge.
I just thought the insurance company would send one anyway. So that's all
No,
I'm.
because they're not tree specialists.
Right.
Well, no, but it does, you're not be a rocket scientist. Either was anybody that I was doing my dealing with. I just called up, somebody said, what's the tree cost over there?
Craig
$2,500.
So you
Craig
did the-
didn't want someone to just replace a tree. He wanted an arborist to come in, which is a specialty.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, they're
different.
not gonna replace his trees though. They're just gonna clean.
But I thought, yeah, I thought he was okay with
That's
just
right.
trimming his tree.
That's right.
Okay, I don't care, guys. I'm just trying to explain to you what's gonna happen. That's all. All right,
Got it.
not a problem. If you wanna spend the money, that's, I guess.
Not spending the money, he's just asked, that's what he asked.
But
Right.
what I'm so clarifying for the board is if I don't have approval for any dollar amount, I cannot spend anything. So if they say, we'll come out for $50, the answer is no, I cannot do that. Like the select board holds the purse and I can only spend what's within the budget.
All right.
Well, established outside that realm. Okay. But I can check, but then we might be back here again in 2 weeks, which is fine too, if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Okay, all right, that works for me. I just think you'll see us back here again. But anyways, yeah,
Is that what everybody?
works for me. I'm,
So as,
Yes. Sorry.
So you've been
So
told
he's
by
asking-
3 separate arborists
That there's going to be.
that there's going to be a price for $500 to come out and get the estimate for trimming those trees. And you need us to either authorize you to spend up to $500 for that
Or come back.
or come back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
yeah. But
Can you try that person? And at least keep the homeowner abreast as to why it's taking us so long to get an arborist out there?
I can.
Does that work for everybody? As opposed to spending $500 right away on a arborist to get an estimate?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm fine.
What's 2
I'll do whatever
weeks?
the board wants, but I just need a direction.
right.
But I would just make sure that we let that property owner know that
Does the insurance, so is the insurance company gonna have an issue with Kurt Ryan going out there and?
he has a business. He can put,
But are they gonna accept his assessment?
Well,
There's nothing gonna be done
They're
about
the
this
ones who-
until somebody comes out, an adjuster comes out there. Nobody's gonna touch nothing until insurance adjuster gets there. And they will,
I don't disagree with you.
I'm just letting you, I've been through it. I'm just telling you, so.
well, I think they
We better
probably
get the
want to
estimate.
get an idea and then they'll send an adjuster and
Yeah,
say,
don't
well,
spend
no, I'm
that.
gonna give you $2,000 for the trees instead of $2,500.
do we want
Basically what
to
they want.
authorize him for the 500 for an arborist if he needs it?
I don't mind if he needs it, but to be
I'm
honest,
gonna try my best not to use anything.
given the flood conditions and what they're doing right now,
I'm not comfortable with it.
I doubt we're gonna have anybody.
No.
Come.
I mean, I know,
Just my opinion.
That has been the.
It's $500. It's not a big deal.
$500 in Allen Pond, a lot of money.
Yes, it is. It is
And
500 here,
If they want
500
to
there.
charge
This is what we've
500
been
to come
trying
out
to do.
and give us an
Trying to
estimate,
keep it down.
then thank you very much. We'll call somebody else.
Well, the problem is he's called 3 people already and they all between 250 and
They
500.
want-
Let the insurance company take care of it, people.
They can't.
they
They
can't, the
can't.
insurance company says
Gotta
you
give
go get an
them
estimate.
That's what,
These people are charging us to get an estimate.
They don't want to do it unless.
So listen to this. What I did as a property owner, I went and I got an estimate. I submitted it.
Yep.
That was it. It was
Yes.
done. The insurance company says, I'm going to send an adjuster there. I personally did it. The town isn't responsible to get an estimate.
That's an option too, right? I can go back to Craig
Thank you.
and tell him that,
Hey,
if that's what you would like.
yes, I'd
Because
like,
that's what Gwen did, right? She just handed me an estimate because when I talked to her, I said, I
Fine.
apologize, I've called 3 arborists, this is the deal. And she's like, well, I already had somebody come up. I'm like, oh, well then just give me the estimate and I'll submit it.
perfect. There you go. And now you're gonna have an adjuster come up and they're gonna they're gonna assess the damage and it's done. We don't have to pay nobody, an arbitrator to come out and look at that.
True. You're right.
That's
You've got
true.
an
By what
estimate,
you're-
done deal.
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. We don't need to spend $500 to have somebody come and say, yeah, we got some damage here. Then
Craig's
they're gonna say, turn around, they're gonna say, well, give me an estimate of the damage. Let's don't spend no money.
she got this right here.
People,
Did she pay him $500?
I have no idea what she did.
trying to save a nickel.
You know who this
And
is?
$500 is a lot.
Elevator company. The elevator kind of like died for a few days,
Oh, I see.
Mm.
Okay.
and
To
there's only
continue on.
so many people that can do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Your street speed sign, the box has been shipped. Again, I'm not trying to use flooding as an excuse, but they really couldn't get it to us. Additional items on here, we've completed the FEMA December flooding reimbursement. I'm waiting for they call it the CRC. It's a different board from FEMA. They're reviewing the project. Estimated reimbursement is about 2 months if they don't have any more questions for me. They had some questions for me. I answered them. I try to do it the same day. That way we don't have any delay in getting our money from FEMA. This was for the December flooding back in 23. The whole hazard mitigation plan, we've completed that. That's being submitted to Vermont Emergency Management Agency. Met with Norwich Solar, which you're aware of, and then the school meeting regarding the budget for this school shared facilities. I'm gonna follow up with the school as soon as they kick back in. That seemed like a decent meeting, seemed to open their eyes a little bit of, what costs are, and maybe we can work something out. So that's good news. That's my update.
Okay, so other business?
I think there's one that I signed both those,
Uh,
or no, it's still
no,
there.
they're still
Yep,
out.
Okay, never mind.
Is that if somebody has a comment? Well, we had public comment, but go ahead.
No, I'll take my turn.
No, public
Well,
comment.
public
was passed
turn
out.
comment
was-
was the beginning of the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Switching here, Bev, go ahead.
Please.
You're on.
Okay, several months ago, I called Mike Straight and asked him if we were having any, it was before advertising of anything going on in the park. And I said, is there any chance that we could have something during the first weekend in August? And preferably on a Friday night rather than a Saturday night. And he said that he was running low on the money. And if I could get a band for $600 or less, we could do it. He'd have schedule it on that weekend. And he said then, so I called him back and told him that I had a band for $600. So then he said, well, I have to pay Mike, I have to pay Bruce $100 for cleanup.
No.
Now, so I went to Bruce and I said, Bruce, told him what was going on, what it was for, what the plan was, the whole complete program. And he said, no problem. He said, I clean the park every week anyway. So he said, it's not going to be a big deal, is it? And I said, no, it's not a big deal. I said, it's going to be a very small, event. I said, we may get a big crowd. I don't know who's coming. It's open to the public. But I said, it's not going to be like a Catamount Arts thing or whatever, and a $2,000 band and all that, naturally. Go on with the show. So then comes Friday night, everything's done with. And Catherine comes up to me and she says, you have money. I said, what money? She said, to pay the band. I said, no, I don't have the money to pay the band. So between her and whoever, they dished out money out of their pockets and paid for the band. Because one was from Burlington and one was from East West Overshoe, and they weren't all from Island Pond. In fact, I think Catherine's the only one in the band that's from Island Pond. And so anyway, so then she gets so of course she's all upset with me. I'm upset because of the situation. So then today she called me and said that she got her money. And I guess she got the check, went down to the Ace Hardware and got her check. But then she got a text from Mike
Thank you very much.
saying your pay is late thanks to Bev Pepin.
So I think this is more of a forum issue, I think.
Yeah. The town doesn't pay for that, Bev. The forum does.
Yeah.
Town has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
that's not the town, that's the forum.
So the forum's not under the town at all then?
No.
We need to- Okay.
No, so.
No, the
and-
town benefits from the fact that the forum pays for everything for the town.
Okay.
So I just don't.
Who runs the
but I-
forum?
But I learned my lesson and I'll never bother with it again.
That's where we
So
get
where
all
did
the
you-
money that the town get, all the bands and all that.
the fireworks.
The fireworks, that's all from the forum.
Explain the forum.
the forum
Where's
is-
the money come in from the forum?
He
All
gets the
grant
grant,
money.
it's all grant money.
USDA.
No, there's different ones.
Well, I
There's
know, but-
multiple grants. There's a whole lot of grants that go
Yeah,
into all
yeah.
of that.
So,
The
and that's
town
where
just
it comes from.
benefits from it.
Yeah.
So like, for example. with
It's
the
a wonderful
Where do you
program.
find out?
It's
Do
just-
we have a listing to where Mike all his money is, or how much is in the
That-
forum?
Yeah.
The town has that town has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Where do you
the
find?
town,
where
the
do you-
forum is paying the town for my salary, so
Where do you
$50,000
find out
will
the
come
forum?
from the forum towards my salary from the forum.
Right. 50,000.
And the forum pays for the fireworks, not the town. The town contributes a small piece of what the fireworks cost for 4th of July.
So what does the forum pay your salary?
Because of
50,000.
the work that
50,000.
I'm doing on the economic development for town, the forum will contract with the town for my services to do work, to do all of the events and stuff.
So the forum pays you?
So no,
It's the
you
grant.
pay me, the forum pays you back.
I,
Where do we find out about these? How do we find out how much money's in the forum on a daily basis?
501c3, they file taxes.
Five one C three, go online and pull their tax return. They're public every time. I'll send you the tax return if you want it.
But there's,
Mike, I'm not being facetious with it. I just don't know where you go to find this stuff. I'm asking questions because I don't know where you go to find out this information.
Well, you can search online for the Brighton Community Forum. It's the Welcome Center.
Okay.
That is who has funded every bit of the economic development for town since 2016.
Okay. Thank
Otherwise,
you.
I have to go to every business in town and beg money off of them to pay for all that stuff. Well, I can
That
assure
didn't
you,
work
what
well.
we had this summer our summer program this year was almost $80,000. The town isn't paying that. The town businesses aren't paying that.
Okay. Like I said, I'm
So
new.
without the
I'm just
forum,
learning.
stuff
So
goes
I'm just
away.
asking the question. I wasn't trying to be facetious with you. I just didn't know this. All right, relax.
Oh. Any other business?
Yes. General ledger report. I have two things. One's general ledger. Town manager, there's no dollar value here. Everybody, all the other employees of town are in this?
So PG. It's combined with the economic developer and the town manager. All the dollars that are going to both of those guys are on a different page. I was gonna ask the same question, Craig, and that's why I,
Well,
is there a way to
there is
separate
no
out
page 8.
Yeah.
prior to, it's prior to, I'm sorry.
Page 6?
Go back some.
No, it does get a little messy, and I think it has to do with,
Right here.
it's missing a heading.
It's missing a heading.
Yeah,
So-
economic developer, econ,
Yeah.
and then it goes down, then you got town manager. It's all in.
So here's where,
Okay, all right.
That's why I was asking, is there a way to separate out?
I'll look and see if I can get in there and try to.
Because that would help.
Yeah, thank you.
say, it's kind of, I think it's because we threw those in there later on.
I don't know, I've got to go through the general ledger and try to figure,
96, 96,
it prints it out the way it prints it out.
right.
It's a different question, I'll call it.
But I also had a question on that. Do you want me to go with mine, or do you want me to wait for your second one?
Oh, my second one was, I was reviewing the timesheets, and as an employee, it had like 4 9-hour days, which total 36. And it's for 40 hours. They're being paid 40 hours.
Was it a salaried or hourly employee?
I don't know.
Was it?
She said.
Oh.
So,
I have
Are you
40
salaried or hourly?
Basically, I'm salary.
I would say you're a salaried employee, because that was what you
Yeah,
got
so
paid.
like when I do elections and all of this, I'm basically a salary
Okay.
employee. Like when I'm down at elections until 11 o'clock at night,
when you're here?
and when I'm here, I don't get paid extra for all of this. I get paid a salary.
Okay. So you have a
So some
weekly
weeks-
salary
I
and
have
this
a weekly
week.
amount a weekly amount that I make.
Uh-huh.
And some weeks I work this many hours, some week I work this many hours, like anything over, like any select board meetings, I don't put in for any elections, I don't put in for anytime I have to stay over, any of that stuff.
If it takes her 100 hours in a week to get her job done, that's what it takes her. She only gets that amount of money.
All right. But the minimum required is 40 hours.
You can't do that
Yeah,
with
with a
a
salary.
salaried
Salary
employee,
employee, okay,
Town employees, you can't
because then
crack
you have to make them hourly.
okay.
There's lots
I
of,
guess the members of the board need to know who is salaried, who is hourly, and who's exempt and non-exempt. So can we have that information by Wednesday next week?
Right now.
Yeah, right.
Print it out,
Oh,
please.
I-
We need
yeah,
to
print it out. I want it in writing,
please.
please.
Yeah, just get it printed out for next meeting or as soon as possible. That'd be great.
Why can't we do?
Want to talk about it, want to see it in writing. Thank you very much. Over.
so just so we know, Noah and Teresa are the only two that are salaried.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay,
So you're exempt.
Them from what?
salary non-exempt,
Salary non-exempt?
right? 'Cause non-exempt is the one that doesn't get overtime.
Correct.
Exempt
Yes.
and non-exempt refers
Non-exempt
to
means you
the
don't
Fair
get
Labor
overtime.
Act. Fair Labor Act. Fair Labor Act. Okay.
They're non-exempt, which means they don't get paid for additional times beyond 40.
Right.
And NOAA falls more specifically under managerial, which has additional
Mhm.
requirements, including minimum annual salary and those situations.
So, I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm not attacking you, Teresa, whatsoever, because I know the amount of work that you do. We don't need a citizen coming up to us and complaining to us or to the Attorney General, God forbid, that Allen Pond is paying salaries for work that is way less than the 40 hours. Yeah, what if
You're paid.
what if she only clocks in 20 hours?
But when you're salary, you're paid to do a job.
Yeah.
If you accomplish your job in 3 hours a week because you are damn efficient at your job, that's all you're working. That's how salary works.
That's right.
Some weeks you work 3 hours, some weeks you work 300. You don't pay them less when they work less and get the benefit of not paying them more when they work more. Salary, you have to pay them a set number and a set amount of minimum, like their minimum wage for salaried employee is $54,470 a year for salaried managerial employee, as opposed to, what are we, 16, 17 or 16 something an hour for a hourly employee is a minimum?
15 is-
13,
right.
so 13 is what, 26,000 versus 54,000. So there's a significant, but when they go over those hours, you're not giving them any extra money. So the flip side of anytime you have a salary employee is some weeks the company wins, most weeks the company wins. Some weeks they cut out half an hour on a day. And if
Well-
they're not accomplishing their job, then you deal with them as not accomplishing their job. But I
That's
mean,
what it
that
all
is,
comes
that
down
is
to.
what salary and not and hourly, the big difference is.
Wow. I was a salaried federal employee and I was expected to be there 10 hours a day.
I was also.
9 hours a day,
So
sorry.
There's a different rule. So
Yeah.
my salary in my contract literally spells out that I worked a minimum of 55 hours a week for set rate. Oh yeah, minimum of 55 hours a week. That was what my salary was based on. And
For example,
non-exempt. So I didn't get paid overtime. I had a minimum of 55 hours a week that I had to work. And there were some weeks that I worked 80 for that set pay. And that is what I got. And that is why as soon as I got a chance to get out of that contract and have a comparable income, I was out.
So, and
All right.
because Teresa doesn't operate on a contract, we're on the town manager for our government, it differs based on the need, right? So if I need her to stay more, she stays more. If I don't, she doesn't. That's how that kind of
And
works.
recently, what was it? Was it 2 years ago you went from being elected to appointed?
That's right.
Which also complicates things. So under an elected employee, kind of like for the select board, you get 1/3 of, or whatever 1/3 of $8,000 is, because we haven't just that 5 for a year, whether it takes you 1 hour every month to meet or
3 hours.
40 hours a week.
Okay.
That's what your pay is, and you agreed to it by being elected to that position for that pay.
I purposely didn't want to say
Oh, that's
what
okay.
employee was, so, yes, okay.
I'm not
All right.
happy either.
Thank you, Teresa.
Teresa,
no
you're doing a
problem.
great job.
I get up
Thank
here.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, all right, while we're on this, on time cards, we still don't have a personnel policy on board yet.
And
But I understand that, and I know we've been busier than ever. But we also had an agreement too that we were gonna get everybody down to 80 hours. And I'd like you, Mike, to get that down to 80, because it's holding true to everybody. It's holding true to every other clientele in this administration. So if you could do something with that, I'd appreciate it.
I'm working on it. I took 7.5 last week, but
I
You know, the summer is the tough time, Mike.
I
because,
know,
you
but
it's-
I'm
it's the
really
busy
sorry
season.
about that, but we got a policy. We need to stick to our guns here. So figure it
I'll
out.
take Time off and
Thank
then
you.
nothing gets done.
That's all I gotta say, just a reminder.
just as a reminder for the select board, if you have an issue with employees, you address me.
Thank you.
Not the employee. You address me. So I hear you. I'm reading it. I'm on his rear about it. He knows it. I call him daily. He's got it.
Okay, then Michael, I apologize to you and now I'm on you. Just
Absolutely.
Fix it.
Yes.
I'm asking, put that in the minutes. I'm asking him to fix that. Because we've been talking about this for quite a long time.
Is there anybody else who has too high comp time that you've seen in the timesheets?
Time sheet, the overtime that was logged in for these last 2 weeks, over the last week.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna
If you're gonna
make a
pick on one,
point,
you're gonna,
let's be equitable.
that's right.
I'm asking.
This has been going on,
I
hear
know,
you.
I get it,
I hear
but
Gene,
I get it.
Jane, I'm
Mike.
talking to the manager.
No, well,
Okay, I can't talk, or if you want, I can talk to both of you.
well, good.
It's been going on for a long time. Fix it.
All right, can we get back to my question?
Go ahead, I thought you were done.
No, you were interrupting me in the middle of it. My question is, the overtime that was put in this week by our road department,
Mhm.
are we paying them the overtime or are we giving them?
Damn the overtime.
We're paying the overtime?
Yeah, some of them I know they put in their comp time, but we're,
Can I ask,
So I need an answer. Yes, we are paying them the overtime? Thank you.
so when we, this is gonna sound really dumb, but this is, thank you for saying that to remind me, I didn't write down my question. When we have
Are you done?
this overtime, just because I'm one, is it possible to add those like flood recovery costs? It's like,
So
can we?
if I put that as a line item, that's gonna throw off
Everything
all of your
else.
budget numbers.
Okay,
Because it's a newly added line item that was not approved at town meeting. All those line items.
right.
Those were all approved by the voters at town meeting. So if I start adding in something, I know you want it separated.
Is there
I
a
can't do
way,
it on this, on your budget sheet.
is there a way to write that down and
I
say,
just- Yes.
so we have that number?
We have that number.
because we're gonna, obviously,
Town meeting.
money will come back eventually, hopefully. But so that when somebody, I mean, I don't think anybody would forget that we had flooding. But when our overtime, because it's gonna look big and our contract services are gonna look big. So that we can say, yes, the flooding in July cost us easily, I don't know how much, a lot of money, but here's the lot of money. So that we just have that. And I'm just.
Right, so we can explain to them why.
It,
Road
what
department
I've
went over
done
budget.
is I've started a folder with
Oh.
anything.
Good.
Including hours worked by the road crew for overtime for the flooding.
And volunteers who help during that, you may want to record their hours as well. Because that might help for any in-kinds that are needed.
One last thing for the other business. When does the 2025 budget start getting worked on? And when can the board see it?
It's in October. I think we asked this question last time.
Water board needs it early this year,
Oh,
right?
water board, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The water board is gonna be theirs next meeting.
When did you need it for
We have
USDA?
to have it, we have to have them done by December 1st. They have to be submitted to
I
grant
would
people
say-
December 1st.
Yeah, our next meeting for
Probably
water board is gonna be
September.
working on that.
September?
I would think that, because we need an approved budget for the town, right? Not
Yep.
just the water board.
And,
So-
what I'm gonna say is, I don't think any town would have their budget like completely finalized. I think if we have it close, it'll be fine for the grant people. I don't think they're gonna complain about it, but we do have to submit something to them by December 1st.
But it doesn't get finalized until the townspeople vote on
meeting
it
day.
in February?
March.
In March.
March, okay. So I think we need to establish a specific date to have a draft budget come before the board. Line items, not generalized, for the board to review.
like what you have right here,
No,
you're gonna have to be very specific with what you want though, because.
line item budget, a line item budget.
Whatever it costs, whatever it costs.
So if
Line
That
item.
is the line item
Dan is
budget.
there, if office supplies, if additional equipment, maintenance on the equipment.
This is a line item budget.
Well, let me study it some more then.
That's why I'm asking for clarification.
Okay, I,
Happy to help you, but
sure. But we need a draft before the board to review and ask questions. And the departments, I don't know, I would suggest that the departments argue the budget, support their budget request to the board.
to the board directly.
Yes,
Who was on the budget
where
committee
each
last year?
department brief their
Usually they
budget.
do, like Andy will come up and say, because.
The select board?
Yep, he comes
Okay.
before the select board and he said, this is what I need this
Okay.
year. Normally the library would come and see you.
Okay.
If they need an increase, the only thing with the town that the library does is that we give them an appropriation every year.
Mhm.
But if for some reason Michelle may think that they need more, she would come to you and say, hey, I need an increase, this is why. Well, we do all the rest of the general.
Yeah.
So,
So what if, since this is a line item budget, how about if we just have each department head come to you and tell you what they need and you go bit by bit every 2 weeks? And by the time we get
Perfect.
you'll
No,
have.
I'm not asking every 2 weeks. Line item budget for the year.
Yeah, just for, who?
That's what this is.
Who
Okay,
wrote the
I'll
who
look at
was
it more.
in on the budget for last year? Noah,
Here's-
you and who?
here's your-
The select
Me,
board?
Joel, and Mike.
You, Joel and Mike. See, now this is where I want,
Andy and I work.
Select board.
Miscellaneous.
And all the head of.
well, I wasn't there for that, but
What's that?
there was a select board present at this
Yes.
budget meeting.
Yes.
All the select people were there? Okay.
We typically do all the work ahead of time and then bring it to the select board and then we sit
think
down
Joel
and
had
say,
explained
okay,
this.
here's where we see issues.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, whatever I come up with, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you send me back to the drawing board, right? You can send me back as many times as is needed to get it the way that you want it. And then I present it to you
Yeah.
and you approve or deny. Hopefully at some point you approve and then you present to the voters. That's typically how we do it. And we typically, we can do it the way you're talking about, have department heads go straight to the select board. That's fine. But then I'm gonna ask that the select board is the one telling us how high or low to go. Typically, that's something we just do internally. That way it's not something you guys have to do, but if you want to be more involved, by all means, it's not a bad way to do it. I've seen other places do it that way as well, so. And I think if you go bit by bit, you'll have it done quite quickly.
And stuff like that.
We have that. Umbrella.
And I mean, we could start on it as early as the next meeting.
In St. John's, where they serve, sorry.
What are you thinking there, dear?
I'll go over
A lot.
a little bit more. And each one has.
I think a lot.
They came for the year. that-
Okay, is there any other business?
Noah, you had asked up
There
front
was a
for us to answer a couple questions for you.
Updates?
Uh,
Oh, that's right, we got the updates.
there was 2 updates. Can we finish that?
Yeah, sorry about that, I forgot. This, skid steer reimbursement to Andy. Okay.
I make a motion to reimburse Andy for the skid steer usage for $350.
I think you're opening up a large can of worms by doing that.
I'll hold back the motion.
Um, The reason is so whatever his reason that he couldn't use said equipment, which I'm not doubting that, please.
Yeah.
But so when I have an emergency situation in my employer, regardless of what I have going on in my personal life, they're not going to reimburse me for that. That's every employer that I've ever experienced. That's every company I've ever ran. Now, as a business owner, when something prevents me from accomplishing my work as a business, that's what I have business insurance for. And who's to say that if this was his personal business that he was injured on, whatever it was. So that same day with the floods, I think of what's its name? Another well drilling company was coming through. We stopped them from doing their work, which the homeowner paid for, because we wouldn't let them go down our closed roads. Okay, what's to stop that homeowner from saying it cost me $1,000 because you didn't have your roads open, let's reimburse me for that
So
$1,000.
Where did he use the skid steer?
He was unable to use it because he was working for the town.
Right.
That's what I read.
Oh,
I didn't hear anything about this. I don't get.
I don't
the mail.
understand.
I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
what is the situation?
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to use it because of the roads
was-
and he wants to charge the town
He
for it?
wasn't
He
able to use
wasn't
it
able to
because
use the skid steer, which is his
he
personal equipment?
rented it for personal use
Oh,
and wasn't able to do what he wanted to, at least when I read the email, wasn't able to do what he wanted to do with the skid steer because rather than being home on his time off, he was working for us.
Because he was
Did I
supposed to be
miss-
on vacation.
Did I misunderstand the email?
No, that's correct. He was,
I think
because he would have been on vacation, right? Because it wasn't supposed to be a flood.
We don't see this stuff at the meetings. How come we don't have
You
all
have to
this
read
stuff
them.
in front of us?
I'd have to print off every email I've sent out.
Well, no, just this particular one's what I'm talking about. This is what we're discussing, this one particular one. How come it isn't here for us? I don't have a clue what anybody's even talking about here. I don't get emails from the town
So
and
he
nothing.
wants
I
to
don't
be
understand. I just don't
reimbursed.
understand what.
you have an email?
I don't take any emails from Island Pond. We've
Okay.
discussed
you
it.
have your
But you have-
town, we set you up a select board email.
I'm not using anything personal.
Okay, then you need to get a
I come up,
laptop
I
from the
know,
town.
I come up here, Greg, and
Okay,
I get my personal right from her every week. I'm up here 3 or 4 times, so that needs to be there for me to pick up. I'm not using my own personal, shake your head all you want, Gene.
Well,
I'm
no,
not using
No.
my phone.
I think as a select board, that is your responsibility to
I do, I
get
come,
your
I
emails.
come up.
I get it,
here,
but that's not her
rely
responsibility.
on another employee to get you the email from her job, time from her job
Which
to
is-
give you something you should be able to do. Come right up here, go to that workstation
Or
and bring your own.
give me, yeah, exactly, get me hooked up there. Sure,
Okay.
it works for me.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
Or the library.
works for
The
me.
library is available too. You
No,
can
I'll
log
just-
into the library.
Come up here.
okay,
So
so,
this is
Up
the
here.
water board. I
That's the
have
water
no
board.
control. That's
Oh,
their
all
department.
right.
That's their stuff.
The library.
I'll move the computer from the basement up. You can have that one.
Okay.
so he is asking reimbursement for the rental of the skid steer?
Mhm,
For his private business.
No,
I oppose it.
I oppose.
I did. Too. I mean,
Well, we still have to put it to motion, whether I.
Okay, put in the motion.
That's what I was.
Okay,
no, I mean,
Okay, I'll let you make your motion now.
do we have an invoice?
He did, there was an invoice attached to the email, if I remember. Yeah,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I motion that we do not reimburse.
You have to do motions in a positive, sorry. I learned that from you, Pierre.
no, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
How do you,
You have to say it and then you have to say it positive and then we have to vote
do
it down.
we- right.
We all say
do we-
opposed.
Right.
really?
Yes,
So I got to make a motion
in
to
the positive.
pay
Uh-huh.
him.
Right.
Okay, I make a motion to pay,
Indeed.
reimburse Andy Martin, his personal business, the cost of 300 and
Awesome skid steer.
cost of the rental of the skid steer. Because he couldn't use it during the storm.
I will second that.
Like, you're
Yeah, she seconded it.
All in favor?
all in favor?
No,
Now you have to say.
No,
opposed.
nobody said, nobody has, you have to
I
say,
second.
right, okay,
So now it's all in favor.
right.
And you
Exactly what I just said.
then you can ask for,
Right,
you know, objections.
right.
Opposed,
Opposed? Okay,
Nay.
we never have opposed, but
Right.
now
Nay.
we got an opposed, okay.
so opposed,
Opposed?
Nay.
one,
Me opposed.
One.
Okay,
hey, nay.
two,
Mike? All right,
You-
so I will,
Do we have,
so 3.
no.
do we have 3 no's?
Yeah.
Okay, we have 3 no's.
This, if you, I gotta
That
You
is
vote no, Greg?
waive overtime or pick up loss of use. Both.
I'm not gonna approve reimbursement to any business that
That
can't
wants it.
use their kit, their equipment because there was a storm.
While
Right,
you're
no.
paying overtime.
regardless if they're on our payroll or not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
reimbursing any business.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, business owners. That's what you have
Like-
business insurance for.
Oh, I mean,
Yes.
So the next, sorry to keep you guys moving on. The next one is decision to allow the town manager to increase vacation time for employees. Specifically, I'm asking for Lisa, just with everything that's happened, to make a kind of a one-time exception, give her some additional time off and pay her. Because again, none of this falls neatly under, I don't care if you're the best agency in the world, it's not gonna fall neatly under a policy.
So, there are leaves of absence for situations. I understand that takes you without gaining any, income, which sucks.
yeah.
Have you thought about the possibility of allowing employees who may have some excessive time or additional time off that they may want to donate to, and that's what I've done with employers in the past, is I've been allowed to donate sick time, personal time, vacation time to another employee who was going through, whether it was cancer treatment,
Right,
death
I
of
get
a
it.
family member. You were able to ask employees if they wanted to, and they could do that. And that's how you paid them. Or they didn't do that. They weren't obligated to in any way do that.
I think that works with larger agencies really well. But when you're a smaller entity, I think it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you've got-
After the road crew has been out here, we're gonna, hey, by the way, can I have some of your comp time to get, I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna feel guilty, and I know they would do it because they're good
Right.
guys, but I don't feel like I should have to rob them per se. And I know that's not what's happening, because they have the option, but I also don't want them to feel
Yeah.
obligated.
Do you have a definitive amount of time that you would like to grant?
He's got it 4 days.
That was for the road crew.
Past 2 weeks.
So 10 days.
So in total, I had like 15, because I know she's working through some stuff. I was down there with FEMA today, trying to get her everything she needs. But I wanted to give her just another week personally, because, I just want to take care of her. It takes a lot for someone to say, well, I'm going to come in tomorrow because I need a paycheck. I get that. I've been there myself, but I've also been there, and man, it would have been nice if I had a manager who could say, yeah, take another week, get what you need done, and once you're settled, come back. That's why I'm asking.
I think you're the supervisor, and whatever arrangements you can come up with between you and her is fine. Cautioning precedents,
Yep.
the other employees, okay?
Well, and typically
I know-
we go under the policy, but
I know that our road crew did a tremendous amount of work. And they are being compensated for it with overtime and comp time. Very unpopular subject to say, or it's a very touchy subject to say no to, because they did an exceptional and long hours, but they are being compensated for it already.
and you're moving.
We're talking about just giving, the assistant county
Lisa.
manager
Yes,
a paid time off. Not like keeping her paid for the next 3 weeks, the last 2 weeks and the next.
Without using her
I-
vacation.
Without using
I'm
up her vacation.
saying he's the boss. Whatever he comes up with, that's up to him. Between him
That's
and her.
not true, because he would be overspending the budget. You guys have to approve that.
No, he wouldn't be overspending the budget.
Not
because
spending
we've
any
already
money.
Budgeted to pay her. How many hours a week does she pay? Does she work? Huh?
36.
So,
But you
It's-
are spending more money. If you're giving an extra 3 weeks of pay, that's an extra 3 weeks of pay, because she still has her vacation time that you're
Yeah.
also responsible for.
and say
You're
usually,
still accruing a liability.
the rule of thumb with businesses is first, regardless, and it doesn't matter if it's maternity leave, it doesn't matter if it's, even if you go out on sickness and accident, even if you go out on short-term disability, long-term disability, you make them exhaust all of their sick time, all of their vacation time, all of their, and then you pay them.
And I could certainly do that, but that's why I'm asking.
Right.
You tell me, I mean, I will deliver the news, whatever it be. But you let me know. Because in most agencies that I've worked for, that is how it works. You know, I would have to exhaust my PTO, then they would take my sick time and so on and so forth. But again, like I said, being on the other end, I know how that feels too.
And I also don't want her rushing back to work.
Right.
But there's unfortunately the way labor laws say it is you can't say, okay, we'll pay you and you can just make up in 4-hour blocks across your next,
Right.
you know, you're not allowed to do that.
Another option is you could do 1 week, 1 week vacation, 1 week sick time, and 1 week, just manager's discretion. You could do it that way too. Would that be fair?
Saying that she uses her 1 week vacation, her 1 week sick, and then manages discretion.
Yep, that way
And
she's
then-
not using all of her vacation, and it's still kind of getting you guys what you want, but also working with her.
Yeah.
What do you think of that option?
I also don't think that she's gonna be out.
I
She's
can
gonna
say-
be out Monday. She'll probably be out, well, tomorrow's the last day here, but, and she may be out Monday. You know, Tuesday's
I mean,
primaries.
I would like to
Already
see her
gonna be here
paid.
Tuesday.
I would like to see her paid, but yeah, it's nothing
Opening up.
personal. It's nothing personal. It has absolutely with a can of worms. I mean, I'm the kind of person who, if you would let me donate my vacation time from my work that's extra, I would donate it to her because
Does FML, not FM, Fair Labor Law allow the annual leave? Because we were limited to donating our
usually.
our annual leave. We could not give them our sick leave.
Yeah, that's how we work.
It
All
was
right,
only-
so I have a
Because that
question.
was federal.
Does anybody have to make a motion for me to donate a week of my vacation to her? Because
Absolutely
I
not.
have to do that.
I would allow that.
Thank you.
It's,
Because I always.
I would
vacation.
allow you to do that.
Thank you.
I have no issue with that.
Thank you.
whatever personnel rules there are that we have to dot the i's and cross the t's, let's make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now
Very
can I
generous of
donate?
you.
And when she's ready, you and I have already had the conversation. We'll discuss that.
So we've got the town, the road,
Question. What was the question on
the
that?
road 3-4 day.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was moving ahead. The next question is, the road crew, they've been out here night and day, 2 storms already. We're not gonna say anything, but hopefully not another. And they're getting really tired. I mean, when the sheriff is coming up to me and saying, listen, man, they need rest. It's really hard to tell these guys, knock off, go home. That's just not the kind of guys they are. They like to get the work done. They like to do it right, but I need them at their best, not at their worst or making any mistakes or being a liability to themselves or others. So what I'm asking for is 4 paid days for the road crew so they can take it off, spend time with family and rest. But here's my caveat. I know they won't want to do it this way, but I'm asking consecutive. I want them to rest. That way they can come back with a level head, know what they need to do and get it done.
I think 4 is a little high. Because they work 4 days a week.
They do, yes.
And 4 days a week would actually be 11 days off. Because it's 7 plus 2 on the end is 11 days off. I am perfectly fine with saying Monday is a designated, you will all take it off holiday, get some rest.
Okay.
I love the idea, Noah. That's a wonderful thought. But again, like others, probably if we could stagger it, because you never know. We got a rainstorm coming this weekend, and if something has to, an emergency. But I do appreciate and understand. I think, and maybe we can stagger it possibly. It's just a suggestion.
How many days does the board? We got 1. You say stagger 1, staggered.
Right, yeah, because now you're they'd have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, that's.
And they would rest, right? If
They
you
would
gave
rest.
them, if you
Was
gave,
it feasible to ask them to kind of split it up, not all of them take, but do, consecutive, so they both have a rest day following one each other, so there'll always be a fresh person on board. I don't know, I just trying to think in which, but I know you want everybody to rest completely. I understand what you're saying.
I could adjust their schedule like that. I prefer not.
Yeah, then that's fine.
I
That's
think
fine.
if we told them, we'd like you to take Monday off, all of you. So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
That would give you 4 days. Yeah.
Obviously, if something catastrophic comes up,
They'll be in anyway.
they'll be in anyway.
So you know
Yeah.
what? Why are we using this weekend? Why don't we use?
We could
the
use
next-
the following.
Why don't we-
Whenever
because
When
they,
There's not gonna be a.
Right, 'cause-
I say,
I think we got some rain coming this weekend again, right?
so why don't we do it?
when we're through this.
Yeah. Like
Make
the
them take a day
following.
off.
So, yes.
I think, personally, I think that's really important that they, before they fall asleep behind the wheel.
Okay.
Now, let me get this straight. We're gonna pay them they're not taking it out of their comp or their.
No, we are making them take a day off with pay.
No, I think that's very wise, and I think it's a good move.
What's that?
An administrative day, administrative leave with pay,
Yeah.
one day.
Okay, do you
Need a motion it?
motion for that?
Was
I
it,
think so.
I'll make a motion to authorize Noah to give administrative day with pay 1 8-hour or every 10-hour periods,
Yeah.
1 day for the road crew.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, guys have it?
Meanwhile, after election, do you need one too?
We have not selected a date to have a draft budget to the board. I started saying we need to choose a day, a drop dead day to have a draft budget to the board.
When do you usually have the trap?
I can have it whenever you guys need. But I
And-
just need a date. We will make. it work.
What's the deadline for a grant to have a final budget in?
Where's?
December, the first, it's not December 1, it's the first week in December. It's some arbitrary weird date during that week.
Okay,
Yes.
so. can
Yes, I'm
we-
looking at the date of our next,
September 18th.
so our next meeting would be on or August 21st, and the following one will be September 4th, so September 18th would be the one after that.
We can even push it a week to
October 2.
October 2. Let's do that, October 2. An agreeable date?
Goodbye, buddy.
October 2.
permit?
You're asking for a full draft rest budget. You don't want managers to come in and present. I just want to be
If we
clear.
have questions after that, we can probably ask the managers to come in, but just get us.
Be on the
Get you a
16th.
draft.
I mean, if they're asking for a 50% increase, they might want to give us a little blurby letter to go with why they need 50%.
Yeah.
Right? Anything
Well, I
above
think-
10%, I would expect a blurb on.
Okay.
20%?
Is it-
So I need to have clarification if you are accepting the petition to abolish zoning. Because it got a little out of control.
So
I
you
don't
can't
know.
stop someone from petitioning because that
But
is
I need
a
a
right.
date. Are you okay with doing it for the November? Putting it before the townspeople in November?
Can you manage to get
What's happening?
I
that?
thought it was gonna be too late.
I would,
No,
the thing is,
November
I
it's fine.
But again, can you,
This lady. was-
I don't think.
You have to
can
have
stop
a
it,
meeting
can you?
with the voters before that,
No,
correct?
no.
Can we?
Can you have a meeting with the voters?
To explain to
I
them
need
what
to
this means.
I need to have the warning posted by, it needs to be 30 days, September 20, God, I want to say it was the 26th, but she told me.
Teresa, you can't stop it though, if you got signature.
No, but I need a date.
Oh, I see.
I need a definitive date on when.
I thought there was
it goes before the
anyways.
board.
I thought it was anyways.
Town meeting.
In fact, you guys are the ones that set the date. The select board sets the date.
Okay, so this is not about putting,
This is a ballot question.
it's not being put on the petition, I mean, on the ballot. It's
Correct.
before
It's not being put on a ballot yet. I have to get the signatures from her. She has to have so many signatures. And then it has to come to me. And then you have to approve the date on which
Correct. It's gonna be warranted.
this question is
I,
going
I,
to go for the voters.
Oh, okay.
I think doing it in a presidential election is, people don't know
I
what they're.
wouldn't want to do it that
what they're
quickly.
voting for.
For one thing, I think there's some other, the zoning bylaw, Joel and I were trying to figure this out through the state statutes. The zoning bylaw falls underneath a whole different chapter with a whole different set of procedures than everything else that people can do a petition for. And so, because I just watched Paulette had the same thing happen to them, the town of Paulette, Vermont. They got a petition in January, came to them to abolish zoning and all the same language. And so they just held a hearing by their planning and zoning commission, just held a hearing last week, because I watched the video online and it was kind of interesting to watch. But so they actually have to have a hearing, and then they go back and make a recommendation to the select. And so I'm not sure if that's the procedure that needs to be followed with this, that yes, we accept it, but we're not setting a date yet because it may have to go to the planning commission for a hearing before it can go on the ballot.
I just want to know whether or not I've got to get stuff together and have it ready for the presidential election is what I want to know.
Can
I
we,
want a
can
timeline.
we not put it with the presidential election?
You guys decide the date.
Didn't she have that on the petition?
That would, she did.
Yeah.
I would much prefer that not be with the presidential election.
Yeah.
It would be better off to have that standing alone or with a
Special
town. Yep, I know that's a real pain, but putting it in with a presidential election is a good potential that people will be voting on something that they are not necessarily informed about.
It might piss off the petitioners. I mean, she's going out there working hard for this, so we're basically gonna say, no, we're not interested in what your cares are about. You might find out that might bite us in the butt.
I think it's important that we have a meeting.
I think it's very important that we listen to the townspeople and let them go through the procedures of the town and the way that we vote and what, I just, you can't blame this because of presidential election of all things. Come up with a better excuse than that. This happens to be important to her and everybody that signs the petition. I just don't think this should be sidetracked. Let it go through with what she's doing.
I think.
Be prepared to take the step.
I think the people in town need to be a little more informed.
Exactly.
We need to have a meeting.
This is nothing to.
Is there anything that says you just can't put it on town meeting day next year? Because that's typically when you take up those kinds of.
Town things are usually for town.
Which I informed her, because that would be, one, it's the route that we know, right?
Right.
And it's the route that makes the most sense. And it gives everybody an opportunity to come and hear and understand as well. That was, again, it's up to
Do
you.
we have standing to accept the petition to be voted on by the town at its town meeting?
Right.
And not agree and allow?
It would still have to be a
I
straight
Yeah,
ballot.
November
called the
5th.
Secretary of State because I wanted to know if there was some kind of law to have a town vote with a primary or presidential election. I didn't know if there was any kind of conflict. So I called for that reason. And she said, there's no kind of conflict. You can have a vote for a town issue on a ballot at the same time, but you have to follow these procedures. The select board is the one that decides what date this election will be held on. You
Okay.
are the ones.
So it doesn't have to be town, it can be
It can be whenever.
Be a special-
You guys are the ones that
Special-
pick the date.
a special day,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it does not have to be,
No, go ahead.
it does not have to be November 5th.
No.
It does
It
not
can
have
be
to be.
March 2025 at the town meeting.
Correct,
That's right.
because you guys are the ones that pick the
Okay.
date. I just need to know 30 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
If you do want to wait until town meeting, it will be added into our warning as
I
think
really
that's-
think it should be a part of town meeting when people are thinking of town business.
That's up to you. I just wanted clarifications because
Yes, for
there's
sure.
things that I needed to do.
Yeah,
That gives you
I
that.
believe if that's the case, it should be done at
Well,
town
you
meeting.
need
not-
to
not
have a
before.
meeting. You
Right.
need to have a meeting where we can discuss this.
Right.
And not
and-
just us, but and the local.
No, where everybody, and
Right.
That's right.
everybody, like I have been to what, 4 of those special meetings? And more people come and ask questions when it's town meeting because it's a date in their head.
So did I hear this wrong, just myself, or was she just asking to have this done like yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's, no.
She wants the town
She
to
wants-
vote on it
Oh,
November
no,
5th.
no, this has to, oh, no, this has,
In
That's what
November.
I'm saying,
And
there's
if-
not.
And if she has, I mean, does she have enough?
Yeah.
That she
If
has
she
enough
does.
signatures?
And this is a time sensitive thing. It's not like, no, you can't do that.
No, this is a big deal. It's
I
not.
thought, I
it's a
actually
huge
thought this
deal.
was for town meeting. That's,
No.
I mean,
But my question is, Teresa, when you were talking to the state, is our form of governance now with the town manager being really the person in charge and the select board as a board of advisors, does that change the stance? And I'm not questioning how you questioned it, but I just,
You still choose.
so
a
it's
date.
still up to the
I asked for
select.
that.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Yep, yep, I asked that question.
can't throw you under the bus.
No, I'm not trying to pick it on you. I want to make sure that legal is by the
Yeah,
right.
because I had asked for
doing
that
this the right way.
Yep.
Yes.
Because we haven't ran into this. It's kind of new when we were kind of like, we're not sure. I'll have to get back to you.
My whole reason, she wanted it done next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, first of all, there's a procedure. You know what I mean? You have to warn this, you have to advertise, you have to get it out to the public, that this is gonna be,
Well, she wants it then because September 1st, that's when the fines start.
yeah,
That's when all of this is going to
Correct.
start to hit the.
correct. And I understand,
So.
but I understand all that, and I said, there's no way it can be done by August.
Yeah.
And she said, well, then what about November? And I said, you've got to let me check with the Secretary of State, because again, I don't know if there's some kind of law
Right.
when you have a presidential election that you cannot do this too.
She all.
I mean, if you're-
she also asked to get rid of Beth. That was another request.
Well, I oppose
I
that.
don't think that can actually be part of the, that's why I'm just wondering if her document is even legal, because, you know, you kind of have to be pretty.
Her
the language is
document,
pretty specific.
is got the right wording on it. She's good there. The document has the right wording, except for has the wrong date.
Perfect.
And we
Um,
typically would check with a MAC attorney at VLCT just to make sure it's on the up and up and that that's, you know, that is the correct language. And if it's not, you know, we would inform the petitioner and then they would be in touch with it. But that's with getting things in and submitted to us in a timely manner. Otherwise, you miss the date, you miss the date.
Does a citizen have standing to request to dissolve, do away the zoning when it is a municipal law?
from Vermont, we
It
do.
is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
If you get the
Okay.
petition, then you get the votes, you have that.
I'll tell you that.
You have that right.
This lady here is not foolish. I'm gonna just let you
No,
all know
she's
that right now.
extremely intelligent.
Yeah, she's very, she
We're
is.
gonna have sewer running down Main Street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She is extremely
As long as they don't
intelligent.
run up.
But I mean,
and-
again,
And I'll tell you, this is the person that when the wind towers were gonna be put up, I'll tell you what, she was lucky she had zoning.
I'm just saying that,
Oh,
Zoning protected her.
the letter that was written, yes, it did say there was a date when fines. But if you have reached out to her and you are making an attempt to address violations, it's entirely different than you can't make me, right? There's 2 different ways that you can react to anything. And one is to take it and say, okay, look around and say, maybe I do have an issue here on my property. I know I looked around instantly, double check, and then take the steps needed to address those. And sometimes that means, hey, I need help.
I
Can we
gotta,
get some people?
Heather, I gotta admit, I myself personally thought it was rather harsh. I wish it could have been drafted a little with more thought. And whatever her meaning is or what she wants to stand up for is well beyond. I mean, she has the right to do what she's doing. She's an administrator. I wish it could have been a little more thought. And then everybody would a little it was hard for a lot of people. So
I don't
Okay.
think she meant it to be that way.
No, I don't think, I think she
Jane, I
would
didn't
say,
think she
hey,
did.
I know.
these are the
things.
It just, yeah.
It was harsh.
It's,
If it could have been rewritten a little.
I read it.
half minutes.
I didn't have a problem with it because it didn't affect me. I don't have.
Exactly.
I don't have that.
Yes.
So it didn't affect me. So to me, it was not.
And I understand, and 99.9% of it is actually, yeah, I'd like to see some of these facts.
Yeah.
Hi.
So
I thought it was just the timing, get this.
The bill.
zoning
Yeah,
thing
it
with
was
the
in a
bill,
separate,
And it was in a very unpopular tax bill. That was my,
Yeah,
I mean, it
exactly.
was saving money,
That's
but
what, I told one citizen, well, neither did we.
it's not.
One citizen, when complaining, I said, well, my best guess is they were saving money because you didn't want to mail out another 1,100 envelopes.
2 days after the
You know,
price
2
zone
days,
hosted went
that's
up.
Very, very expensive, so.
Like 750.
Right.
And no, is, sure,
Has anybody considered enforcing the in the past? I mean, these things haven't been enforced.
it has.
Right, which is why she's
And
saying, let's work together to get it.
But I'm just saying, it's a buildup and a buildup and a buildup and a buildup and a buildup.
It has come to a point now. it has to be
And,
addressed.
and that's fine. And I've talked with her and I agree with Beth and nothing, she's willing to work things out with people and so on and so forth. But some of these people, I hate to say this, but they may not have what it takes to do that.
Right, they don't have the means
Which is-
to do it. Yeah.
Ways, means, education, anything you want to call it, okay? But they still have to comply.
That's right.
So I think maybe that's a little bit, has something to do with like
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
And of course, and I realize getting it with the tax thing, whatever. But what I'm saying is maybe it would be justifiable if the zoning board reviewed the zoning laws and bring them up to date with today's world. And at the same time, make sure that it legal, to protect them at the same time and all of this. Because this mess, it could become another messy situation for the town.
They're working
Legally.
on updating.
We
the
are
zoning.
updating
You're
the,
right. We haven't done anything for 3 or 4 years and all of a sudden you put the hammer down and it shocks everybody.
Again,
It's hard.
If you have the important part is if you do have something that's not compliant, reach out to her and say, hey, I need a little extra time. These are the steps I'm taking. This is the timeline I need.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna come down and be like, well, you didn't make the deadline. Here's your fine.
Right.
If you're making a concerted effort towards the goal, that is us reaching the goal.
and I know that there's quite a few people that have gone to Beth with those concerns and she's, I will
That's
work
what I
with
said
you.
at the beginning. I know that. I
Yeah.
realize that. But not everybody has the ways, means, education or
Right.
whatever.
And we can get help.
That's what
Yeah.
she said, but that's why they should have talked, instead of screaming and hollering and calling her every name in the book, go up to her and explain the situation because she has been working with other people.
We
It's
can
kinda
work
like when I
with.
shut down the gym, right? I didn't do it out of spite or because I don't like children. I did it because we had insurance issues and we need to comply with what our insurance wanted us to do. And so I had to update the rules and regulations. But for a while and the first town meeting, I was calling some pretty horrible things and it's recorded and you look up news articles. But the benefit here is those people may not have reached out to me, but I reached out to them. I spoke with them and guess what? Craig Barnes is my best friend. He's great and we're working well together and that's just all it takes. And unfortunately, it's going to take some time. but I can reassure everybody that.
You get along with Craig Barnes, you're doing.
It's great.
Get us back to here.
Yeah, I would recommend.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
But Beth, her and I, we did go on a couple zoning trips. We went and saw a couple residents. We spoke with them. We just worked it out right there. It was very simple. Where, hey, if you need help moving this, I got my truck.
Yeah.
That she was able to do that. And I think mending that relationship, right, that's going to be on her to do that. And it's going to take some time, but I think she can do it.
She can do it.
Yeah.
She can do it. But another, like, for example, how many of these people have got permits? If they've got permits for something and then
Kind of.
they get this letter, I'm just saying a permit for whatever, maybe to
Say a
have
driveway
chickens, or
permit.
say they got, this is the whatever. I'm just saying, is anybody checking in on it to make sure that?
You're not gonna get a zoning violation if you built your product with a zoning permit.
Right.
If you went and you built something without a zoning permit, then yes,
You are.
you either go back and apply for your permit and get one cost, or.
It has to be the
Working with
specification.
those
Right.
people as well.
Yeah.
So on that note,
Somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes for July 17th, 2024 as printed.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Do we need that one?
For what?
Next one.
Yep. You need it.
Okay.
Okay.
I will make a motion to enter, who needs to be in that, you and us?
Select board and
Okay.
To enter into executive session for contract negotiations, the members of the board and Noah present.
Second.
and
All in favor?
and go ahead. You can say it.
All in favor? Aye, aye.
Aye.
One thing that they wanted, they being the attorneys wanted me to make very, very clear.
We could do, if you'd all be in executive session.
Yeah.
I'm not an executive.
I need to go relieve myself again and get more water.
Okay.
And then you
Okay.
can tell us about the attorneys, say we have to.
Real quick, I have to ask this. They wanted me to make it perfectly clear, everything in this specific executive session cannot be spoken outside of this room. Wanted to make it very clear. They want me to say it 3 times. Heck, they want me to get your names. But I think if you guys just acknowledge, we'll be good.
Is this having anything to do with Ferdinand?
No.
Okay, because I'd have to leave. Okay.
It's the contract,
The union?
All right.
In the union?
Okay.
union contract.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything what's going on. Like I said, I don't get the information. I don't.
Nobody knows
that I got.
about that